ako dyan niluluto ko ah. Paborito ko yan.
Sa World Remit, naiintindihan namin ang iyong paglalakbay. Na minsan, kailangan lumayo upang makamit ang tagumpay. With ways to save more, when you send more, World Remit is here for you, so you can be there for them.
Okay, nako, magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Welcome po sa ating program. Embassy nating kaibigan mo. Ako po si SONNY LARAGAN on a Monday afternoon. Dito ho, live ho tayo mula ho sa ating studio sa London. No? So good afternoon sa ating mga kababayan sa buong United Kingdom, no? Sa apat na sulok ho ng United Kingdom at syempre sa apat na sulok ho ng Europa. At yung mga kababayan natin na nanonood sa atin na labas ho ng Europa, nasa Middle East, nasa North America, at kung saan pa man, maski sa Pilipinas, welcome ho kayo dito sa ating programa. Tuloy ho kayo, kabayan. Ako po si SONNY LARAGAN. Today, well, every week umiikot ho tayo sa iba't ibang mga, namamasyal ho tayo, no? Sa iba't ibang mga embahada dito ho sa Europa. No? At napapag-usapan yung namamasyal, bumabiyahe, yung very special guest ho natin ngayon, mula ho sa Philippine Department of Tourism. No? At yan ho ay pakikilala siyempre, no, ng ating katoto, barkada, repa PEPS, no, chokaran, lahat na ho yan. No? Ito ho, ang ating kasamahan ho rito sa ating programa, embassy nating kaibigan mo, walang iba kundi ang napakagandang lalaki, no? Napakakisig. Walang iba kundi the one and only PEPS Villanueva. PEPS, magandang araw sa iyo.
Magandang araw naman, Sunny, at magandang araw sa mga nanonood sa atin ngayon dito sa Filipino TV Europe. Embassy natin, kaibigan mo. Pero, Pao, are we on YouTube? Paki-check nga, please.
Oh, are we on YouTube? Direct, no?
Yes, sir. Di ko
Yes.
na po napalitan yung thumbnail.
Hindi na lang Okay, sandali. Okay daw. At paki-check nga, PEPS. O nga pala, tama yan sinabi mo, PEPS, no? We'd like to let everybody know na hindi lang kami nasa YouTube, nasa Facebook, kundi nasa YouTube din ho kami. Ayan ho. Mas maganda ho kung kayo ho ay manonood sa YouTube ho. Napakalinaw ho yan, ultra high definition ho ang ating kumbaga resolution diyan.
Quality, maganda ang
yung quality natin. Oo, at saka it's a lesson learned, PEPS. Because last week, eksakto nung na-interview natin, sino yung ating yung sa Greece. No? Si Giovanni Palek. O, si Ambassador Giovanni Palek.
Si Ambassador, no?
Yung after 1 hour, nagsimula na 3 o'clock ang show natin UK time, 4 o'clock, bumagsak ang Facebook for the next 6 hours. From 4 o'clock in the afternoon, di ba? Bagsak. And it was worldwide outage. So, ayan. Teka muna, Peps.
Kaya nga nung nag-show tayo, we were running on YouTube, kaya ina-announce natin nasa YouTube, no, dahil that was the only platform left nung bumagsak ang Facebook. So nasa YouTube tayo at least tumatakbo yung YouTube, no. So well,
they can bring us both, Peps.
Ano nang nasira sa atin because we were not monitoring the news. Nasa on air tayo.
Yes.
And we didn't know that the whole world pala of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp,
yes.
crumbling na pala siya, no?
Exacto. And we were wondering kung nasa technical operations natin ang problema dahil bakit gano'n? Hindi man lang mabuksan o ma-activate yung Facebook. Yung pala, may worldwide talaga.
Wala pala talaga.
Talaga sa buong mundo. So, hindi lamang sa atin.
Hindi pala tayo ang may diferensya. Sila pala.
Sila pala. Oo, sila pala. Teka muna, Peps. Tama ba? Lumalabas ba sa YouTube? Kasi would like to know. Direct, labas ba tayo sa YouTube?
Yes, sir. Naka-live tayo sa YouTube po.
Okay, ayan. Okay naman. Si Direct. Yung Peps. Dinig naman sa ere ng mga nanonood sa atin. Okay, very special day ngayon. Although nasa itong magiging guest natin, Peps, Tingnan mo, nag-freeze ka yata. Nag-freeze yata si Tito Peps mo. Ayun, nag-freeze ka.
Hindi.
Tito Peps.
Tinitingnan ko yung YouTube eh.
Okay. Siya nga ho pala, pwede rin ho kayong bumati sa YouTube, no? Pwede ho kayong bumati doon, pwede kayong magtanong, mag-message. From now on, ho, we will be actively using or promoting ho yung aming YouTube channel ng Filipino TV Europe. Okay. Well, teka muna.
Alam mo bang meron na tayong almost 11,000 subscribers sa YouTube, no?
Wow.
So,
abangan ho ninyo yan. Ba?
Abangan
Talagang
po ninyo yan.
nadadagdagan. Thank you ho. At abangan ho ninyo. So, mas mapaparami ho dyan. Gawin ho natin community natin to ng mga Pinoy dito sa Europe dahil dito na ho tayo nakatira, no? So, I guess, kailangan maging magkakapitbahay ho tayo. At yung ating guest ngayong PEPS, hawak niya North and South Europe, ha?
Europe.
So malawak, although nakabase siya ng London, pidot London yan, pero ayun, malawak pala. So encompassing to ating yung kanyang yung kanyang nasa sakaupan. Okay. Ate, by the way, pasalamatan lang natin.
Talagang batikan to, no? Ang ating
pasalamat lang namin. Ito, maraming salamat to sa World Remit. No, kung hindi ho dahil sa kanila, hindi ho kami makakaikot sa iba't ibang bahagi ho ng Europa para makilala ho natin yung mga ambassadors, mga consul general at sino pa man, no? At ngayon, makakasama natin yung ating hepe ng PEPS, no? Ng Pidot sa North and South, Northern
Ewan ko sa'yo,
at
pero
Southern.
ako, umiinom ako sa World Remit, ha?
Oo nga, pero ikaw, talo ako sa'yo dahil may maliit ka eh. Mas spoiled ka. Ibig sabihin nun, no? Ayan. Okay. Okay, well, sige.
Pakilala na natin.
Pakilala mo na. Excited na ako. Dami
hapon
nating
ito,
kababayan. Na-excited malaman, makilala ko sino yung ating Pidot head. No? Sige, go ahead please.
Ano ito? Talagang batikang specialista ito. He's a tourism marketing and product development specialist, no?
Wow.
For over 29 years. No? So matagal na. Talagang veterano ito, no?
Yes.
At graduate yan sa Asian Institute of Tourism ng University of the Philippines, no?
UP.
At naging scholar yan ng United Nations World Tourism Organization for Masters in Tourism Program in Italy, no? So nag-aral din sa Italy.
Masters.
No? So kakatuwa naman at the moment, he is the tourism attaché to the UK and tourism director for Northern and Southern Europe. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, our
Yes.
special guest for this afternoon, walang iba po kundi si Jerry Panga ng Philippine Department of Tourism. Jerry, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tito Peps and Brother Sonny. Glad to join this Filipino TV program in Europe. And together with my boss back in the Philippines, the ever-active Secretary Bernard Romulo Puyat, and with my ambassador here in London, Ambassador Antonio Lagdameo, isang mainit na pagbati sa lahat ng naka-tune in dito ngayon sa programa niya.
Wow. It's a getting to know you, Jerry, no? Maraming mga taga-UK, syempre kilala ka. But this will be quite interesting for kababayans na nakapalibot sa sa Europe at syempre sa iba't ibang bahagi na mundo na nakikinood sa atin, no? So, welcome sa ating program, Jerry. Siguro tatanungin ka namin how you got into that kind of a job. Sabi ni Peps, 29 years yata, no? Veterano, no? Pinag-aralan mo yan, tourism, marketing. Saan yan? Sa UP ba?
Yes, Sonny, sa Asian Institute of Tourism, yun yung premier na tourism school, not only in Philippines but also in Asia. So, yun. At the outset, talagang naisip ko na magiging industry ko at profession ang tourism.
How was it? Bakit? Paano yan? You enjoyed, probably you went to one of the resorts or some resorts or mahilig kayong, siguro family goes out, palaging ang outing, and that somehow probably pumasok sa isip mo, teka muna, maganda to. Siguro tourism, no? Ano talaga? Ano tinapos mo sa sa undergrad mo?
Well, ang main motivation ko talaga is lahat ng kagaya ng mga nag-work sa travel and tourism industry is mainly the opportunity to travel. And in my case, traveling around the world, that was my inspiration, and which got me to move from the College of Arts and Letters in UP to transfer to Asian Institute of Tourism, and through, graduate and established my career with the government industry under the Department of Tourism.
Ano, Jerry, hindi mo tinapos sa UP? So from UP, siguro a few years, then you went to Asian Institute of Tourism? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's UP rin.
I went,
Ah,
I
UP
went
rin.
through
Sorry.
yung GE program, yung GE, tapos you're given the option to move to where you are able to really establish your course. So in my case, I shifted from College of Arts and Letters to tourism in UP also under
So UP rin. So nag-ano ka ng course, kumbaga midway sa CAS mo,
Yeah.
sa College of Arts and Sciences mo, nag-shift ka na.
Yeah.
Ayun. Okay. But a lot of our ambassadors, kasi kamukha ni Ambassador, Conjen Bernie Fernandez, they saw an ad na prominent sa dyaryo. And ang nakalagay doon, yung, an opportunity to travel the world, no? To see the world. Bakit hindi foreign service ang pinasok mo? Bakit tourism? Is it really guaranteed na if you work in the Department of Tourism, you would be guaranteed a travel abroad?
It depends kung anong sector ka ng tourism, but in my case, I'm lucky to land in the job which involves destination marketing, so domestic and international. So early on, pag trabaho ko, na-assign kagad ako sa International Tourism Division ng that time, yung Philippine Convention and Visitors Corporation. So for the Department of Tourism, we have our own unit which is in charge of promoting tourism to the international markets. So meron din kaming sariling foreign service pool and foreign service role.
Taga saan ang mga pangga, Jerry? Taga saan kayo?
We are from Bicol, specifically Iriga City in Kamsur.
Iriga City, Kamsur.
Yeah.
Ang capital ng Kamsur is Naga, di ba?
It's Pili, but Naga is the main city in Bicol.
Wow, ngayon ko lang nalaman yun. So,
Pili is the
Pili pala ang
capital.
capital ng Camarines, Camarines Sur,
Kamsur.
pero ang kilala, Naga City.
Naga City, yes.
Ayun.
There's also Legazpi, but that's in Albay. But all under the Bicol Peninsula region.
Okay. Pero Camarines Sur,
Nandyan sa iyo, Jerry, yung yung aking paboritong hotel sa Bicol. Hotel Ibalon,
Oh, yes,
noong
yes,
70s.
yes.
Kamsur,
And
Peps?
80s.
Kamsur?
Yeah, sa Iriga.
Yes.
Iriga City mismo yan.
Iriga.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes.
okay. Ayan, oo. Okay. Ito hindi alam ng mga kababayan natin, pero gusto ko rin tanungin si Jerry kasi ang kanyang brother is an Assistant Solicitor General sa OSG, no? Office of the Solicitor General's Office. At kasamahan ng aking pinsan si Tomas Laragan, si Tom, no? Laragan. Kayo ba, ano ba ang family niyo? Mukhang nasa public service kayo. Ilan ba kayo magkakapatid, Jerry? At ilan ang nasa public service?
Walo kaming magkakapatid, tapos anim ang nasa government, 5 ang nasa government service. And mainly because we were influenced by our late father na through and through nagtrabaho din sa government as a judge, regional trial court judge siya. Tapos yung mom namin, retired public school teacher din. So, family of government
Public
employees.
servants.
Public servants, yes.
So yung dad mo talaga. Yun nga, kaya nga gusto ko malaman, Peps, kaya tinanong ko yon, no? So, maaaring nagmula sa father. So, tama nga, judge ang kanyang father pala, no? Siya presiding judge sa Kamsur din?
Sa Kamsur din, yes.
And ilan ba ang dahilan kung bakit yung kuya mo ba? Would you say kuya mo yung Eric Panga sa office? Okay.
Yan.
Isa lang ba ang abogado sa inyo? O may iba pa?
Isa lang.
Walo kayo eh. Walo, di ba? Sabi mo, walo? Tama?
Isa lang yung nag-abogado. Although ako nag-attempt din ako mag-abogado sa San Beda noon, but that time I got this scholarship to pursue a program in Italy. So I gave up my law school to be able to study Masters in Tourism in Italy.
Paano ba nakuha yan, Jerry? Was it within the department na parang nakapaskel sa bulletin board na there's this masteral course or program in Italy? How did you get that?
Well, merong circular and usually dinedisseminate to sa lahat ng mga fitting government offices. Like in my case, it was a scholarship program of the United Nations World Tourism Organization course through the Italian Embassy in Manila. So, yun, circulate in-advise, duman sa DOT, and then DOT had its own selection process to choose the right nominees for the program.
Masteral sa tourism sa Italy. Paano ang programa?
Yes.
Is it in English or did you have to learn Italian?
It's in Italian, pero merong review classes hapon na parati akong attendee. But I got by because the whole program was in Italian. So I needed to survive and learn, pick up the language to be able to go through the program.
So can we say that Jerry is fluent in Italian?
Conversant, yes.
Talaga? Wow. Okay pa.
Galing.
Peps, ha? Bigat pala nito si Jerry.
Oo.
No? Oo.
Ciao!
Ciao. Pagka marunong ka Italian, would it be an advantage to parang can you learn Spanish o marunong ka na rin ng Spanish?
Well, kasama sila sa what we call yung Latin-based program. So, halos magkakapareho sila yung mga etymology, yung root word. So, Italian, Spanish, even Portuguese. Merong mga similarities.
Okay. Ang tawag, si Peps, pinakilala ka as a tourism attaché, no? Nakabase ka rin sa London. But he also did that you are the director of the Northern and the Southern Europe. Ano yan? Pakipaliwanag. Ano ba talaga trabaho mo, Jerry? Ano ba ang ginagawa ng isang tourism attaché?
Well, attaché because we are part of the foreign service pool ng Department of Tourism attached to the Philippine Embassy. So that's the role. So in effect, we are the tourism ambassadors, but at the same time, my ranking in the government services director, out of which from our London office, I handle a big market jurisdiction covering Northern Europe and Southern Europe, including market oversight of Turkey, Israel. So napakalaki talaga ng jurisdiction na hawak ko.
Ilang countries yan? Pag sinabi Northern, Southern, tapos kasama Israel ba? Israel ba sabi mo?
Turkey
Yes,
at saka
yes.
Israel.
Turkey and Israel.
Yes.
O ilang bansa
Maraming countries,
effectively ang
Yes.
under you?
maraming countries, but we focus on Scandinavia, sa Northern Europe, plus Ireland because greater UK market kasamang Ireland. Plus sa Southern naman, we focus on Spain and Italy. And with some market presence in Portugal. Plus, of course, Israel and Turkey are important opportunity markets down from that side.
Okay,
yun
so
ang mga-
Italy, sorry. You were saying something? Adding something, Jerry?
That's it. Yeah. That's
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Hindi, so ang hawak mo pala, you're concentrating on Scandinavia and then Ireland, of course, UK, and then you said Italy, Spain, and Portugal, plus Turkey, and
Portugal.
marami-rami yan.
Yes.
Ayan. Ano talaga, pag sinabing pinopromote natin, ano talagang pinopromote natin? Are we promoting actively all the resorts, the tourist destinations in the Philippines? Ano talaga, Jerry?
Well, you just think of the Philippine Department of Tourism in Manila. Just imagine that you put an office here in the UK for that purpose. We are like the mini Department of Tourism in charge of promoting the Philippines first as a destination for leisure travelers, ito yung mga turista, and secondly, as a destination for tourism investments, tourism-related investments like in the form of resorts and other leisure facilities.
Kumukuha rin tayo ng investments. You're also parang trying to get people or
Yes.
from Europe doon sa nasa Sakuma mo
Yes.
to invest in the Philippines pala. So hindi lang
Yes,
promotions, baka sakaling mag-invest sila.
Yes.
Okay. Sa inyo ba yan o through DTI?
Meron kaming interface but for tourism-related investments, we handle those. And meron din kaming cooperation with PEZA because in charge din sila sa economic zones. Meron din mga leisure facilities or properties na under ng PEZA. But ang ano naman is to bring in tourism investments to the country in the form of leisure facilities. So lahat for also in Dumaguete. So some other examples like meron din Buceos Anilao in Batangas for diving. There's also Kasay Village, Swedish-owned dive operations and resort in Moalboal in Cebu. So those types.
Marami pala, Peps. So, kunyari,
Marami.
kaming mga
Marami.
Pinoy na British na, kunyari, kami, 10, no, na nag-pull ng resources ba? Kami, no, halimbawa, ano ba ang mga, may incentives ba? So, sabi mo, may Swedish, may British, ganyan, mga nag-i-invest dyan, no? Anong benepisyo? Meron bang incentives? Say, for example, ang mga foreigners, or kasama ng mga Pinoy na naging Italian na, naging Spanish, naging French, or whatever, at nag-invest sa Pilipinas, ano ang binibigay natin sa mga, foreign investors?
Well, for those investments, we still follow yung 60-40 ownership share, like 60% still majority owned by Filipinos. At the same time, meron din siyang mga importation, tax-free importation for equipment to support the operations, plus other incentives offered by our Philippine investment team in cooperation with Philippine Export Zone Authority, yung PEZA, kung saan man nasasakupan ng investment regime. So definitely merong mga incentive program to entice these investors to go to the Philippines and open their facilities.
So joint venture, maximum investment of 40%, gano'n ba?
Yes.
Okay. Ang ganda pala.
Pero sa
Peps,
mga Pilipinos,
Hmm.
alam niyo sa mga Pilipinos na uso na yung Airbnb, that actually supports our accommodation inventory or our drive to provide more accommodation options to foreigners. As you know, pag condominiums, allowed ang foreigners to own. So maraming mga foreigners or yung mga mixed families, British, Filipino couple, meron din sila mga investments in the form of condominium which are being rented out as part of Airbnb facility. So,
Ang
yun din yung
foreigners,
one way.
they can buy
Yes.
condos as much as they want.
Yes.
Gano'n ba?
Yes.
Walang limitation
100%.
except yung may lupa yata, bawal, di ba?
Yes.
Okay. Ang ganda pala ng show natin ngayon, Peps, tama-tama. Today, hindi nakasama ang Pilipinas sa red list, sa tourism, sa travel.
Yes.
Di ba?
Kaya nga, that's why
Oo.
perfect ang timing natin.
Perfect ang timing natin kay Jerry. Actually, mga kaibigan,
Sa
ito,
UK.
brinaso ho namin talaga ito dahil alam nyo naman, napaka-busy nito. May mga pupuntahan ka mga exhibits, ano ba tawag dito? How do you call expos, no? Mga ganyan, no?
Yeah, travel fairs, mga ganun.
Mga travel fairs, no? Yan. Okay.
Paalis nga yan bukas Sunny. Bukas ang
Oo
alis
nga.
niya.
We have a very parang masipag, indefatigable, no, na tourism attaché, no? Ngayon, dinefine niya, no? Director ako para ako may dalang mini Department of Tourism dito. Kaya ako attaché dahil naka-attach siya sa embassy. Di ba? Parang, in a way, technically parang naka-attach sa embassy pero he has an office. He is a mini Department of Tourism dito. Doon lalo sa nasasakupan North and South plus Israel and Turkey. Malawak pala ang hinahawak mo, Jerry, no? At saludo kami sa iyo, no? Okay. May mga pagbati muna tayo, Peps, siguro, bago tuloy. Baka may mga tanong ho kayo. Ito ay getting to know yung ating mga halimbawa katulad ni Director Jerry Panga, no? Ayan, yung mga ambassadors ho natin, getting to know, no? Kaya ito ho, para kami nagkakapilang
Bilanggit
dito.
mo yung ambassador sa Sunny.
Yes.
Si Ambassador Myla nanonood ngayon. Si Ambassador Eddie De Vega nanonood
Ambassador
ngayon.
Myla. Yan. Ay, malapit na si Ambassador sa Myla, makahilig sa sa
Vatican City.
Vatican City, oo. Si Ambassador
And then from
Ed De
the
Vega
Middle
naman,
East, nanonood din
Belgium.
ngayon. Si Hil
Sino?
Modesto.
Oy, Hotel
Si
Modesto,
Hil Modesto,
mabuhay.
nanonood
Mabuhay
din.
kayo. Ayan,
From the Middle East, no?
Kasama natin
Si-
yung ating director ho ng director ng North and South Europe. Ganun ba, Jerry? Ganun ba 'yon? Ayun, director.
Yes.
Okay, Northern and Southern. Okay. All right. Sige,
Saka
pagbate,
meron
go ahead.
ding dito, tanong,
Peps,
Jerry,
ito
no?
muna. Ito muna. Paano muna? O para mag-sequence tayo. Yan. Yan. Good morning. Nasa Amerika to kasi sa ano pa nga to? Washington State, no? Yan, pakibasa,
Si
Peps.
Oliver Fernandez, no?
Oliver, mabuhay,
Good morning to our handsome host, Kuya Sunny and Kuya Peps, and to our honored guest. Cheers to World Remit. I sure hope us here in the other side of the pond will get blessed with a similar network like Filipino TV Europe.
Philippine TV America. Pabayaan nyo. Baka sakali. No? Ayan.
Baka sakali.
Next message.
Yan, si Marjorie Renner. Good morning daw.
Nasa Amerika siguro. Good morning
Ewan ko, nasaan si Marjorie, no? Sabihin mo kung nasaan ka, Marjorie, no?
Marjorie, tell
good
us
morning,
where you are,
USA. Nasa Amerika nga, no? Si Remy
nasa Amerika.
Barrios.
Okay. Anong part? Yun ang dapat natin malaman. Anong part ka sa Amerika? Ayan, Marjorie
Hello
Renner.
to all daw, no?
Hello
Si
to
Marjorie Renner.
Good morning.
Nakakatuwa naman, no?
Sunny. Ayan. Ito, sino yan? Maribel, ano yan, Peps? Babila
Maribel
Javier.
Babila Javier.
Ayan.
Hello, Kuya Pep. Hello din,
Ayan.
Maribel, no?
Hello, Maribel, ha? Mabuhay ka. Uy, we
Laila
can watch us on
Guillermo.
YouTube din, ha? Sabay, pwede ho, baka mag-message din kayo sa YouTube, ho. Para nang sa ganun, malaman ninyo na pwede kayo mag-message doon. Okay. Ayan,
Europe, we are in London po. Yes, si Maribel Javier, no?
Mabuhay. Oo.
Tsaka hello po from Cyprus, si Laila Dupitas Guillermo. Ronald Sipat, oy, kasama natin to.
Ronald,
Good
naku, yung
afternoon,
happy ng
Sunny and Peps, and to your guest,
happy ng
Kuya
Bangko de Oro.
Jerry.
Ayan.
Kuya Jerry ba? Sino ba mas matanda sa inyo? Hello,
Dan
Sunny
Revelo.
and Peps.
Oh,
Dan
hi.
Revelo.
Dan, mabuhay
Friday
ka.
Group.
Yes, mabuhay. Mabuhay kayo.
Good to see you, G-Boy. Go, go, go.
Ayan, G-Boy,
Fan
Jerry.
ka dito.
Oo nga.
Jerry.
Sino to?
Watching from London, si Ed. Gary Sarte, no?
Ed, mabuhay.
Mhm.
Ayan, oo. Ayan.
Emeline, good afternoon, Sunny and Peps, and to our guest, Mr. Jerry Panga.
Yes.
Nasa ano pa yan? Nasa Middle East pa yan, di ba? Nasa Abu
Oo,
Dhabi
oo.
pa yata si Emeline.
Ayan. Okay. Adelina Dueñas, nasa Amerika yata si Manang Adel, no?
Toronto, nasa Toronto
Toronto.
yan. Hello, Pep, Sunny,
worldwide.
guest Gerard, Jerry Panga.
Ooh, wow. Sige, kung may tanong kayo kay Jerry ho, getting to know ho tayo at kumustahan
Greetings
lang
from
ho to.
Aman Jordan. O yan, yung ating binati
Uy.
kanina, si
Hill.
Hill.
Oo,
Modesto.
Modesto. Ayan, oo. Sige. Ayan, alright. Okay, sige. Ayan, may link tayo. Kung gusto niyo makapanood ng high quality na video, ayan ano. Yan ang link, YT link. Nasa YouTube, Facebook yan. Pag-click ho nyo, pupunta kayo sa YouTube. Para maganda ho, makapanood kayo. Pag sabasabay niyo ho ninyo, no? Makita niyo kagandahang lalaki ni Mr. Jerry Panga. No? Ayan. Okay. Kasi kami ni Peps,
Rudy Samson, no?
Admittedly, magagandang
From
lalaki
Czech
na. No?
Republic, no?
Oh, yes.
Yan,
Oo.
si Rudy
Hi,
Samson
Sir
from
Sonny,
Czech
Sir Peps,
Republic.
and Jerry from Czech Republic.
Pero
But I'm
ngayon
here
daw
at-
nasa Francia, no? Crepin. O
okay.
Crepon. Crepon.
Wow. Salamat ng mga
Ay, salamat ng
sa mga Pinoy drivers. No?
mga Pinoy drivers, no?
Ayun, oo.
Greetings
Wala.
from Dublin, si Esther Epe.
Sir Epe, mabuhay. Oo, thank you very much for Okay. Ba, ito, watching from Athens. Asa may watching from Athens?
Yan, si
Emily Rafael,
Judy.
Dubai.
Si
Oo,
Rudy
Dubai.
Rubianes, no?
Oo, watching
From
from Athens.
Dubai
Sige.
naman siya ngayon.
Sige, si Dubai yan.
Nasa
oo.
Dubai Expo siya, no? Nakita daw niya ang
Wow.
Philippines. Sabi ni Emeline, no?
Emeline, oo. So,
Wow.
nakita ko ang Philippines. Ayun, din.
Oo.
Okay, good. Oh, teka muna. Yung ating, yung dito sa Excel Peps na every year, diba, tanong natin kay Jerry yan, no? Kung tuloy, pero
Mamaya,
baka virtual
watching
yan.
from
Mamaya, tanong natin.
Michigan. Michigan pala si
Michigan.
Marjorie, no?
Mabuhay, Marjorie, ha? Mabuhay ka, ha? Thanks for watching, ha? Maski nasa Amerika, Michigan, sa Washington State, no? Pinapanood tayo, no? Mabuhay. Sige. Sino pa?
Nakakatuwa naman, ano?
Okay na ba tayo? Let's tuloy natin ating questions kay
Kwentuhan,
kay
no?
Director.
Meron lang, Jerry, humihingi ng clarification, no? Dahil ang UK, wala na sa red list ng Philippines. At wala na rin, pero wala rin sa green list. So that means nasa yellow list ang UK sa Philippines. So ano ngayon ang ating as
Status.
far as protocols are concerned, ano ngayon ang status ng
UK.
going to the Philippines naggaling
Oo.
dito?
Yes, similar to what we have now in the UK na wherein wala na siyang amber and green combined na. Ganun din ang ginawa sa Philippines. So, technically, yellow and green, the same, but ang pinaka-importante is yung fully vaccinated travelers. Wherein, if you go to the Philippines, there is 5-day quarantine in a government, in a facility, in a quarantine hotel, after which pag clear ka on the 5th day of your testing, pwede mo nang ituloy yung remaining 5 days sa home. Yun lang yung basic.
Okay, so
So,
10 days pa rin,
nagbago,
no? 10 days pa rin.
nabawasan from 10 days to 5 days. Pagka double,
Yes, but
double
5 days
vaccinated ka.
continuation in your
Sa
home.
bahay.
So,
Oo, sa bahay na lang.
malaking adjustment na rin. Dati, di ba umabot pa tayo ng 14
14 days
nights.
dati, 10 plus 4.
Oo.
Uh-huh.
So ngayon,
And
5 plus 5.
Hopefully, luluwag na yan, no? Na
Fully vaccinated.
bababa ng bababa, no? Hindi na...
Pag hindi siya
Kung
fully
full-
vaccinated,
Kung hindi vaccinated,
7 plus 7 naman. 7 in a
7
quarantine
plus
hotel,
7.
within yung 7 days in your home.
Okay. Okay, tuloy natin ang kwentuhan natin tungkol dyan, Peps. At we'll just have a short break and hopefully pagbalik natin, yung mga kababayan natin na nais magtanong dito sa ating napakagandang lalaking guest, no? Na hepe ho ng Northern and Southern Europe, no? At dito ho nakabase sa London. No, magbabalik ho kami ni Peps, no? Dito po sa ating palatuntunang embassy natin, kaibigan mo. Saglit po lamang.
Bago na niluluto mo Darakal mo pa. Paborito ko yan.
Sa World Remit, naiintindihan namin ang iyong paglalakbay. Na minsan, kailangan lumayo upang makamit ang tagumpay. With ways to save more, when you send more, World Remit is here for you, so you can be there for them.
Okay, balik ho tayo sa ating palatuntunan. Embassy natin, kaibigan mo, Pidot, London. That's Philippine Department of Tourism, London ho. Yan ang ating very special guest. Ako po si Sonny Laragan. Balik ho tayo sa ating palatuntunan. Siyempre, good afternoon once again. Doon sa ating katoto, Repa Pips, Dabar Guards, Chokaran, lahat na ho. Si Mr. PEPS Villanueva. PEPS, good afternoon once again.
Yan. Good afternoon, Sunny. At good afternoon din sa mga nanonood sa atin. Well, good morning. Tama na nga yung good day. Good day po. No?
Good day,
Magandang
tama.
araw. Para ma-cover na natin lahat. No?
Tama.
Yung mga, dahil I just noticed, marami rin pala tayong nanonood from America. No? Dahil
Yes.
tamang-tama yung oras sa kanila, umaga. No?
Umaga.
So,
Tama.
so perfect. No? So, ayan.
Both. Umaga yan, di ba? Let's say, alas 3 kasi 5 hours ang difference natin sa New York, sa East, and then 8 hours sa Pacific, no? Pacific
So,
time.
umaga lahat yan. So, from
Umaga
10
lahat.
o'clock yan.
Oo.
Yung iba, 7 o'clock, no? Yung nasa West Coast, 7 o'clock. Si Oliver, alas 7 pa lang kanina. Nasa ano na?
Yes. Mabuhay, Oliver.
Dahil West Coast
Mabuhay.
yan, no? So,
yes. Oo.
nakakatuwa naman at nanonood pa rin po kayo dito sa embassy natin, kaibigan mo. Dito lang po sa Filipino TV Europe. Huh?
Yes. On YouTube and Facebook. Ayan, oo.
On YouTube and Facebook. No?
I-welcome natin ulit yung ating pinakamagandang lalaking
yung ating
hepe ng mini Department of Tourism dito sa London. Walang iba kundi si Mr. Jerry Panga. Jerry, good afternoon once again.
Good afternoon. Sunny and
Nice.
Tito Pep.
Good afternoon, Jerry.
We know that you're traveling outside yata, lalabas ka, meron ka mga, parang may blitz ka, no? Ilan bang pupuntahan mo? Saan ba ang punta mo itong mga susunod na mga araw?
Italy daw.
Well,
Saan sa
bukas,
Italy?
Yes, papunta ako ng, it's a travel fair in Rimini, near Bologna, Titigin country. So I'm there for 4 days. Pagbalik ko, quarantine clearance, tapos I go to Denmark for the quality travel fair in Copenhagen. So, tapos sunod-sunod na yan. Pagdating ng November, yung World Travel Market na.
Bukas na ba?
So,
Dito sa World Travel Market, ano na tayo? Parang harapan na tayo?
in person siya, in person, yes.
Sa bagay, dito sa UK PEPS, nag-iikot kami kahapon at mga wala talaga mostly hindi na nagmamask talaga no? Wala nang mask eh. Bihira na nagmamask.
Ako nakamask pa rin.
Ikaw, may pinagtataguan ka ba? The mask of sorrow, no? And then, we have to, di ba? May mga talagang kailangan nakamask ka pa rin. Kami sa groceries, sa supermarket, talaga naka-mask pa rin kami, no? So, Italy is face-to-face na rin. Talagang kaya ka pupunta ron and it's gonna be like a, ano na talaga, open na, no? Nabiti ka.
Actually,
Oo.
face-to-face yung event pero mandatory pa rin na naka-face mask.
Face masks.
Kahit kung pumunta ako in May, I went to Madrid Fitur. Ganun din. Sa labas, hindi na mga nakamas yung mga Madrileños, mga inan na sila. New normal, as in usual business. Pero pagdating sa loob, mandatory pa rin na nakamas kasi enclosed area yung exhibition center.
Sinabi mo
It's not
Spain,
enclosed.
yung ba ang pinaka first event mo? Kasi kumbaga, nung magkaroon ng pandemic, kainitan eh, lahat nabitin, di ba? Wala na, hindi natuloy yung mga yan, di ba? Ano unang-una, yung Spain na sinasabi mo?
Yes, across Europe, ang Madrid Fitur in Spain in May 2001 was the first to break through ng face-to-face big travel fair in Europe and in the world, one of the first to run yung face-to-face travel fair.
Ang galing, no? Ang galing, no? So, meron kang Spain, meron kang Italy, bukas yata? Bukas ba simula?
Yes. Mhm.
Oo, tapos Denmark ang susunod mo. Talagang sunod-sunod na. No?
Rimini sa Bologna.
Yes.
Bologna.
Mhm.
Oh, at home na at home ka doon, Jerry. Di ba? Pag may nagtanong sa'yo, ilang fermata, ayan, ang papunta ron, di ba? Ano, may laboro ka ba? Oh, di ba? Ganun na tinatanong ko ng mga Pilipino ron. Boss, meron ka ba alam na laboro? Anong laboro? Trabaho pala. Tapos, pupunta ako doon sa... Paano ba pagpunta sa ganun? Ganun, punta ka doon. Sakay ka ng 4 na fermata. Anong fermata? Yung pala stop. Fermata
Station.
pala. Diyos ko. Ayun pala. Okay. Peps, ready na yata. I-welcome na natin yung mga kababayan
Ready na
natin
ba yung
siguro
una natin
gusto magtanong.
magtatanong?
Oo, siguro. Kumustahin natin. Ang first na participant natin from London, no? Siyempre, no? Let's say hello to Rafi Landicho. Rafi, magandang hapon sa iyo.
Magandang hapon din sa inyo, Sonny and PEPS, and magandang hapon din, my dear friend Jerry, and also magandang hapon din sa lahat. Good morning, good afternoon to those watching in different parts of the world, and I'd like also to say hi to Myla. We missed you here, and at the same time, see Hill. We missed you here as well. Hopefully you guys can come back and visit us again.
Ang ganda ng framing mo, Rafi. Ang ganda ng framing, Rafi, ni Peps ni Rafi. Kita mo, gitnang-gitna siya doon sa painting. Meron siyang dalawang sa gilid na... Hindi, maganda. Hindi, centered talaga.
May
It's
halaman
nice.
sa dalawang gilid.
May dalawang gilid. Perfect ang, kumbaga, symmetrical ang pagkakaano. Rafi!
Saka kakulay nung ulo yung painting eh.
Wait, Rafi, ilang taon ka na sa UK? How long have you been here? Para malaman namin, because natin, no? Because we have, and what do you do? What do you do ba?
Well, my parents have been here working for multinational firms, and we actually decided to immigrate in the UK. So I've been here in London since the late 70s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and actually I've spent a lot more time here in the UK than in the Philippines. So I finished my grade school and high school in LaSalle, and I completed my university here in London, and then have been working over the years with different multinational firms based on my capacity as a senior manager and head of procurement, commercial negotiations, and governance, and basically taking the lead of multi-billion-pound investments globally. With my staff, and the companies that I work for are the likes of in the telecoms, in the T-Mobile International, and then I headed up the cable and wireless group where I was managing 36 countries, and also did work for ITV at the time as well. And so over the years, my career paths have been working in the banking and finance industry, and about 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I've decided to actually become a contractor or a consultant in our terms in the Philippines, working in the banking sector, doing the procurement commercial negotiations, managing contracts, and governing all of the multi-billion pound spend that the business have. And I normally interface with the director level and the C-suite of the different companies that I've worked for. So I've just finished recently the HSBC Global around about March, and I took up this current position several months ago, supporting the UK country in my as my role is in the UK health and security.
Oh, nawala. Wala siya, no? Okay, nawala. Okay, sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
back.
No, nawala. Hindi, nag-switch. Bakit ba nag-switch tayo na, no? Sige, go ahead, Rafi,
Right.
please.
So I don't know where I left off.
Sabi mo something HSBC, you wanted
Oh, yeah.
UK, parang ganyan.
Yeah,
Oh.
so pretty much when my HSBC actually approached me to do some work for them globally, and that's pretty much a lot of the multi-billion investments that they have with key third-party strategic vendors, suppliers, from technology to hardware to software and all of that stuff. And then when that finished, I just took on this role, which is quite interesting, with the United Kingdom Health and Security Agency, which basically governs the Department of Health and Social Care. Pretty much doing the same thing on the strategy, on governance, regulatory policies, and commercial negotiations. Pretty much reporting to the senior directors and the C-levels, the chief of staff, chief of operations, CEOs, and also interfacing also with our Her Majesty's Treasury with regards to the reporting of the investments, especially when the pandemic came in. So that's my background. So I've been still doing this as my bread and butter.
Wow.
And at the same time, I belong to two members of the group, two groups that where we have a lot of interactions. One of which is the what we call the Philippine Embassy Friday Group, which was established just about 20 years ago now, via Ambassador Ray Katapang. And also the other group is about sports, which is the LFGS, as we call it, the London Filipino Golf Society. So we have a lot of activities and programs, and the roadmap for next year would be about community activities with golf, and at the same time raising funds for charity via golf activities. So there's a lot more to come, and hopefully at some point in time we should be able to unify all of the golfing societies throughout the UK as one. And if that roadmap works, then we aim to take it to different parts of Europe where there are a lot of golfing enthusiasts.
Wow, Rafi, very extensive pala experience mo. Pwede kang actually maging associate director ng PIDOT, no? London, local hire, no? Dahil ang galing, maraming malawang experience. Very good. Ngayon ko lang nalaman na since the 70s ka pa pala rito. So you finish your grade school at saka high school, LaSalle sa Pilipinas, at dito ka na pala nag-university, no? So,
Yes.
Wow. Galing. Well, so Rafi, of course, our director, no, of Northern and Southern Europe, no, of the Philippine Department of Tourism, no, Jerry Panga. Yan. Baka may gusto kang itanong. Go ahead, please, Rafi.
Yes.
Hi, Mami.
Oh, si Mami, magandang hapon sa inyo.
We're on live TV. At the
Ayan,
moment.
okay. Sige, direct
Okay.
switch mo muna
I
kayo.
guess-
Okay, go ahead.
I guess my question is with Jerry. The first one is, how do you think the government and individuals are able to assist in the development of something like a community-based tourism? That's my first question.
Well, needless to say, that's that's part of our function. So it's our main job, and the Department of Tourism through the years has been identifying key areas where to promote community-based tourism. But for individual travelers like Filipinos or British here in the United Kingdom, it's important to understand first what's the meaning of community-based tourism and what they can do to as part of our role and trust in empowering local communities. Basically, community-based tourism is a form of tourism which allows or promotes interaction between the visitors and the host communities. Usually, these are located in rural areas. More often than not, they are poor or economically marginalized. So these people, they run their own local tourism. Basically, it's a close interaction where visitors get to experience how these local people live, how they survive on a day-to-day basis, and how they protect the environment, which is the source of their income in running this community-based tourism. So, for example, our youth travelers here in the UK, we're very strong with our gap year program. So these people go to the Philippines on a purpose. It's what we call a purposeful travel, basically to immerse themselves in how local communities go through their daily lives, you know, how they manage to protect the environment. For example, we have the Gawad Kalinga Enchanted Village in Bulacan. The main idea is to immerse these people, you know, how to assist and support local communities in terms of building homes. And we also have like close interaction with Aita tribes in Pinatubo. These people run these adventure programs going to Pinatubo, and also they promote their own local handicrafts, making use of lahar. Also, we have community interaction in Palawan. There's also coastal conservation in Dumaguete. We run these programs already actively because the Europeans look for this. And as we go through this post-pandemic travel behavior, more and more people will look for tourism activities, which we now call transformative tourism, regenerative tourism. Basically, they travel to become a positive part or role in making the lives of local people better. You know, traveling for a cause. Gone are the days when you just enjoy there like your hedonistic style, enjoying the beach with all the booze, you know. But this one, you want to make a difference. You go there to be immersed with the culture, you know, talk to people, get to know in depth the people and the locality, and basically empowering the local community.
Okay.
Dami pala, no?
No,
Very good.
community, ano pangalan
Based
dyan?
tourism.
Community-based
Based tourism, yes.
tourism. Okay.
Yeah, meron pa dyan, marami pa.
Transformative tourism, no?
You know, yung mga
Okay.
Ifugao tribes, you know, showing them how to make something out of, you know, yung mga local handicrafts nila, you know, how to prepare yung mga local cuisine, you know, food tasting, and they go through trekking and meeting these people in their genuine sites, you know, local costumes, you know, these local villages. It's really a good experience.
Okay.
Oh.
Wow. Okay.
I didn't realize
Rafi?
it was that, effective.
Marami pa.
and
You know, Donsol interaction in Bicol. The whale shark interaction are run by local people. You know, instead of killing these whale sharks for commercial business, selling to other countries, they are now the ones protecting these whale sharks and become part of the local.
Okay. Nawala lang si Jerry. Nag-freeze lang tayo kay Jerry, no? Peps, andyan ka ba? Andyan ka? Nag-freeze tayo. Okay. All right. Medyo nag-freeze ho tayo sa
It's frozen.
Yep.
Okay na,
we're
it's
back.
frozen
We're
for a
back.
while. Yes,
You're
we're
all
back.
frozen.
Okay, good, we're
All
back. Okay. Ano yan? Donsol ba? Donsol, anong pangalan yung sinasabi mo sa Bicol?
The whale
Donsol,
sharks.
Oh. Jerry, Donsol ba yun? Donsol?
yes, Donsol, yes.
Okay, okay. Rafi, ano second question mo? Yeah, if you have a question, sige,
Yeah,
go ahead, please.
I mean, I'm glad Jerry mentioned about this pandemic because, you know, obviously we all know that this began almost about 2 or 2.5 years now. I guess my second question is about how did the Department of Tourism effectively manage technology and innovation so that they can develop and sustain their tourism strategic plans for the country during those times of in the height of the pandemic?
Okay. Jerry?
Well, yes, you're a techie person, but as we say now, there's no other way but to go digital. And the main thrust now, or the main travel concerns of this new era or new normal travelers, will be health and safety. So meaning, the more we operate tourism on touchless and cashless, it's better for them, because we avoid close interaction between the service providers and the visitors. And speaking about the use of technology, we also develop our own travel app. You know, our efficient tracing system, but also Travel App Philippines. If you haven't downloaded it, it's full of contents, you know, including the latest updates on safe travel and health protocols in the Philippines. So many things, including digital marketing. Because I'm a practitioner, we are now having access to big data, and it goes with it, the analytics, to better understand the market. You know, the online travel platform, the online travel behavior. All these people now are going in the net to search about the destinations, to make their travel reservations, and how they communicate back, how they enjoy the destination. So that's very much part of our operations. And we talk about Sustainable Tourism Development Program. That's the heart and soul of the campaign of the Department of Tourism. You remember what we did in Boracay? Because of over-tourism, we closed the island for 6 months, despite the global demand for people to go there. We closed it to rehabilitate it. 6 months really not enough, but enough to give some breathing space. And we now implemented, the proper system, including the easement of from shoreline to the roadside, including the proper sanitation and sewerage system in the whole island. And now it's no longer a party island. It's an island that is conducive for relaxation, for communion with nature, for sweet and romantic escapades between couples. We no longer allow drinking on the beach, smoking, and loud parties at night. So it has now shifted to being an ideal place for relaxation, true relaxation.
Oh,
Wow.
fantastic. It's really good.
Okay. Well, digital.
Marami ng changes sa
Yan
atin.
ang mga pinag-uusapan. Diba? Kasi siyempre, pandemic, diba? At medyo nag-i-ease na yung pandemic, lumuluwag na. Talagang heavy ang tao. Saan kaya ako pupunta? No? Be it a Pinoy or a foreigner, no? Diba? A Breton or a Swedish or an Italian, diba? Anybody. Siyempre, lalo-lalo na sa Europe, no? Mahilig tayo sa traveling.
Yeah, to add to that, we don't have the ideal system because we don't have the fastest internet. That's what always the demand of now, the one good concept is remote travel, remote working. People like Rafi can actually just go to a remote island in the Philippines. As long as we're equipped with the proper connection and speed, he can communicate and do his own business. So that's what we want to do in the Philippines, promote the islands as your option to go there to do remote working. But we need to have a strong internet connection. And something good that we have here in the UK is our tracing system. Imagine when we open our app, it has a scanning with capacity within your radius to tell you that if there's any registered person that is infected, you'll be alarmed accordingly. So that's what we want, this form of innovations and technical advantages that we need to have in the Philippines also.
Okay. Well, Rafi, are you satisfied with the answers to your questions?
Very much so, yes. Thanks very much, Jerry.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Salamat din,
Maraming
Rafi.
salamat. Rafi, mabuhay ka. At ngayon ko lang nalaman na since the 70s ka pa pala rito. Ano? Ganun ka pala katagal na rito. Dito ka na nagbinata.
Ano yan? Lasal Green Hills yan, no?
Yes,
He's actually a batchmate of my brother.
Oh, really? Si Rafi. Oh,
79.
mabuhay,
High
mabuhay.
school.
Ano rin po, Rafi, band leader din yan, and rock singer. Yun, ang kulang na kulang dyan.
Maraming achievements, di ba? Ang dami siyang haba nung kanyang kita mo naman achievements siya, Peps. Ha? Buti.
Saka may banda pa dati yan.
Oo. Hindi, wala na may banda. Hindi, anyway. Sige, next time. Pag-usapan natin yung banda mo, Rafi, ha? Maraming salamat, ha? Thank you very much. Golf,
Thank you, Rafi.
banda.
Thank you.
At, naku, talagang...
Thanks very much for inviting
Thank you
me.
very much. Mabuhay. Ayan, si Rafi Landicho, no? Pinoy, kababayan natin dito sa London, United Kingdom. Ang daming achievement ni Rafi, no? Nakakagulat, no? Ayan, daming achievement. So, kita mo yan. Okay. Thank you, Rafi, ha? Ayan, sige,
Alright.
switch mo na, direct. Ba't di mo pa i-switch? Ayan, okay. Thank you. Ayan.
Thank
Alright.
you.
Okay. Teka muna, mabalik ako doon sa sinasabi natin habang hinintay natin yung next caller natin. Yung community-based tourism, ano yan? Parang, hindi ko malinawan. Yan ba ay meron dito mga tourism operators or travel agencies na pinopromote yan, nakatie up na ron? O is the Department of Tourism encouraging mga local mga local communities, Ifugao man yan o kung saan man yan, pagyamanin nyo yung meron kayo? Hindi ko maintindihan yan. Ayan ba'y minamarket
You'd
na
be
ng
surprised,
gobyerno?
Sunny, no? You'd be surprised. Pero marami ng tiga dito na pumunta doon. Yung mga sinabi ni Jerry, no? Naging pasahero pa namin, no, sa Crystal Travel.
British
Na
o Pinoy?
pumunta doon para tumulong sa Gawad Kalinga. No?
Ano yan to, Pep? Sa Pinoy o British?
Hindi, mga British, no?
Ah,
Yung
mga
isa
British.
nga, naging
Okay,
asawa
okay.
pa nung anak ni what's his name? Yung head ng Gawad Kalinga.
Meloto, Tony Meloto.
Tony Meloto, no? Naging asawa pa yung anak, no? And he decided to stay there.
Pero these
so
are
marami
people
yan,
who
mga-
know, pero Peps, these are people who know people na nag-encourage. Pero gusto ko lang malaman kay Jerry, is there like talagang naka-format talaga na eto, targetin natin itong siguro promote natin ng mga community-based na to. Kunyari, 6, 7, 10 yan. I-promote natin dito sa actively, if we go to Spain, if we go to Denmark or Italy. Paano na itatay yan, Jerry? Paano
Well,
yan?
they have their own system for this. Normally, mga gap year programs and yung word of mouth, if these people experience really good thing and very life-changing experiences in the Philippines, they share it in their community platform. So that's how we become bigger. Like when we organized this ocean conservation program in Dumaguete, promote namin siya for the summer program, and we were able to get about 300 Scandinavian students to learn about conservation protection in Dumaguete, at the same time learn diving on the side. That's always the motivation there. We promote something that is good for them to do on the side. So it's a big network, and you'll be surprised, like what Tito Pep said, this is a big thing for all these gap year students, those who just graduated, those who...
Yung mga tinatawag na backpackers.
Yes, but normally under the platform ng volunteering, yung mga yan, they go to communities, yes, and basically just to help before they go to the grind of doing their own respective profession.
Okay. Word of mouth, napakalaking bagay niyan, Peps. Talagang no? Diba?
Nakakatuwa, no?
Malaking bagay.
At dumadami
malaking
na,
bagay.
no?
Oh,
Yung
yeah.
sinasabi ni Jerry sa Mountain Province, ano? Yun
Yes,
doon hindi sila tumitira sa hotel, no? Nakikitira sila doon sa mga
Doon mismo.
sa mga kubo.
Ini-immerse sila. Immersion. Talagang
Yan,
direct
talaga
immersion.
immersion no?
Oh, immersion
Living the
talaga.
life of the native, no? So
Yes.
may mga gumagawa na, no? These are things that were unheard of nung araw, hindi ba? Jerry, hindi mo maiisip na gagawin yan, no? But ngayon, yung new generation siguro, no? New breed.
Yes. Actually, Tito Peps, on the luxury side, meron din kami mga high-earning individuals who are paying to go to the Philippines to experience being marooned in an island. Imagine that, a la Survivor series. So these people pay their way, go to the Philippines and live, as with all the nature's basic elements to survive the nature, learn how to survive in the jungle, but at the same time, after having this exposure, or experience, they give back to the community. That's part of their charity program. So that's really good.
Would you be able to divulge the name of the island or islands that would somehow people would get this adventure? Anong lugar yan?
Yeah, we have one in Palawan. We call it a Desert Island Survival Challenge. So
Okay.
that's we are forming some groups now. Some have already fully booked. The first two groups, I think. And there's another one. We have what we call Boracay Sailing Challenge, wherein we have these paying managers, executives in companies who join a team of Filipino boatmen to go on a race using a bangka in a remote island off the coast of Boracay. Then they do that, and then also combining community work and charity, all in the spirit of fun and giving, volunteering, and as what we call responsible tourism.
Okay, we're waiting for Remy to come in. Remy, hindi ka namin makita, no? Hindi ka pa pumapasok, no? After ng participant natin, the next one, kailangan pumasok agad, no? Okay, Remy, if you're watching us, hindi ka namin maipasok. Kung ano yung ginawa mong setup the day before or 2 days before, yun ang gagamitin natin, no? Okay. All right.
So in the meantime, no, watching
sige.
from Yorkshire, si Nida Mitchell, no?
Watching from
Kababalik lang
Yorkshire.
ito, galing sa
Sandali
Prague,
lang, Peps.
no?
Sandali lang, Peps. I-flash natin. Or gusto mo lang, yan. And then, si matching,
Yung kasunod.
yung kasunod, Pao, no? Sandali lang. Asan na ba yan? Asan na ba yan? Sino sinasabi mo, Peps? Si Judy? Sino ba yung binabasa mo?
Si Nida Mitchell, no? Yung kasama nila anong pumunta
Nida
sa
Mitchell.
ano?
Ito. Okay, Nida Mitchell. Watching from Yorkshire. Ayan, sige.
Yorkshire, England, ano?
England, okay.
Yan.
All right.
Nida.
Next.
Kababalik lang yan. And then,
Remy, sandali ha.
ito,
Remind ko lang.
si-
Remy, pakilang. Para ma-set up ka na, no?
pumasok ka na, no?
Pumasok ka na. Hindi ka namin makita. Sige, go ahead, please.
Rafi,
Alright,
if you're still on, pwedeng
Oo.
lumabas ka, just to be sure, no?
Just to be sure lang, Rafi, yeah, could you get out muna dyan, no? Get out. Well, I mean, get out of the link, no? Ayan.
Dahil ito, si Remy nag-message, no? Watching from Sunderland.
Half an hour ago, nag-message siya, no? Half an hour ago.
Next, si Adelina Dueñas, almost 11 a.m. na dito, sa Toronto siya.
Oh, yes, okay. All right.
And then si Marina Espiritu, yan, watching here in London right now. May right now pa.
Direct,
Talaga namang
kita mo na ba? Nandiyan na ba si Remy? Kasi wala tayong monitor, hindi lang walang monitor. Sige.
hello Rafi and Jerry and the handsome MC as well.
Ayan, gumagalaw na. Gumagalaw na si Remy.
Si Apollo.
Okay, gumagalaw
Apollo
na.
Cubero, no? Si Apple.
Teka muna. Ba't pumasok ang audio niya? Okay, ayan. Alright.
Apple, no?
Yes. Sandali. Nag-freeze na naman yata siya. Ayan, sandali lang, no? Balik tayo sa greetings muna. Sige, tapusin natin to. Mga greetings. Apollo Cubero, hello Rafi and Jerry.
Si Apple, no?
And the handsome
Sa ano rin
MC
yan,
as
Friday
well.
group yan, no?
Okay, si Apollo. Apollo Cubero, sino
At
ba to?
saka
Ito ba yung-
Batangas Association UK yan. Batangas Association
okay.
UK.
Oo. Sige, thank you.
Nawawala
Apollo,
kayo, sabi ni
Ako.
Adele.
Ako si Sonny Laragan.
Hindi po, nandito
Apollo,
kami.
no? Kuya Sonny and
Ito,
Kuya
si
Peps,
Oliver,
Fernandez.
no? May question.
Yes. Kuya
Kuya
ayan.
Sunny and Kuya Peps, considering that tourism contributes a significant chunk to the Pinoy economy, do we have an estimated figure of how much the Philippines have lost in the 2 years that this pandemic has ravaged us?
A good question.
Meron ba tayong
Jerry,
estimate
meron ka bang ballpark
kung
figure?
nawala sa atin? Jer?
Magkano nawala? Magkano ba yearly revenues natin from Europe yan? Or sa Europe ba yan o worldwide?
Worldwide, ang worldwide is that 80% ng lahat ng global destinations suffered the decline as high as 80%. So you can just imagine the economic consequences. Like in the
Pero
Philippines,
magkano dati? Magkano yung dating, let's say the year before, bago nagkagulo-gulo? Magkano ang tourism, ang revenues natin sa tourism?
yung revenues, I don't have the exact figures now, but ang before the pandemic hit, ang tourism is responsible for producing 2.51 trillion pesos in terms of contribution to the economy. So that's roughly 13% of the GDP of the Philippines, including 5.71 million in jobs. So basically, tourism is
80%.
So 80% of nun, yun ang nawala.
80% ang global decline in tourism arrivals.
Worldwide,
So,
global. When you say global, global
Yes.
yan. Pero you mentioned about trillion in terms of, and then 16 how many percent of the GDP. So, ibig sabihin nun, ganun di ba? 80% dun ng amount na yun ang nawala?
Not really. I'm talking about the decline in international tourism arrivals around the world, including the Philippines. About 80% we suffered decline as a result of this pandemic.
So we cannot give an exact, more or less, ballpark figure kung magkano ang nawala sa atin nun in terms
Yes.
of income from tourism, no?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Ito na yata si Remy Smith from Sunderland. Magandang hapon, Remy. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Iba pangalan. Ayan. Sandali lang. Nawala siya. Nawala siya. Okay. Hi, Remy. Good afternoon.
Hi. Can you
Hi, good
hear
afternoon.
me? Hi.
Yes, loud and clear.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, we can hear and see you.
Hi. Hello, guys.
Oh,
Nice to be here.
Yes. Sana nag-freeze ka, no? You're on and off, no? Pero
Hi.
okay. Kumusta? Saan ba yan? Sunderland.
Mabuti.
For the benefit
Sunderland,
of for the benefit of our viewers sa buong mundo, no? Nanonood sa atin, hindi lang sa Europa. Nasa na Sunderland? How would you describe
Well,
where you are?
Yes, good day, good afternoon, magandang araw, magandang gabi throughout the world. Magandang araw din sa iyo, Sonny at saka PEPS. Salamat inimbitahan nyo ako, at saka kay Jerry. It's really nice to be here. Well, Sunderland is in the northeast of England. Northeast. I'm facing in the North Sea across East Germany. So I'm nearest to Newcastle and of course Scotland. Yes.
Ayan.
I'm 5 hours away from London. Yes.
Okay, dito sa show natin, we ask your participants kung what they do, ayan, at gaano katagal na sila sa UK, no, sa kanilang mga iba't ibang lugar. What do you do, Remy? Ano mang ginagawa mo sa UK?
I'm married to an Englishman, a lovely northerner, Kevin Smith. I'm here in the UK for the last 19 years. This month, we established a business, what do you call, Borneo Bistro, the famous. We've been 14 years in the restaurant and takeaway. We are promoting international cuisine, of course, Borneo from Malaysia, where I'm based before in tourism. Of course, the Philippines. All my chef and staff are all Filipinos. Very proud to promote our Filipino community here in the UK. I mean, I would say in England through our food. To our food, of course.
Galing, no? Borneo Bistro, ayan. Sinimulan nila Remy sa Sunderland. Okay, andyan si Director Jerry Panga, no? Ang ating tourism attaché dito sa London. Okay, Jerry, Remy Barry-Smith, no?
Hi, Jerry. I think we have the same kind of a degree. I had my master's in tourism. That's why I created the Borneo Bistro, because that's my past business in Borneo. And the thing that I would like to ask questions. I mean, it's a matter of about tourism and marketing strategies. We know the economy all over the world because of the mobility. Hindi tayo makapasok. So 80%, as you said, the incoming people. So ang itatanong ko lang, how are you going, what is the tourism strategies and marketing strategies to recover yung losses natin for the last two years na yata 'di ba? Specifically, kasi ang mga Pilipino, bayan natin all over the world are bringing their own family. tayo ang nagdadala ng mga kamag-anak natin and family friends promoting, but at the same time yung mga investors and business people na katulad ng asawa natin o family o other people. So the question is, what is the platform of the tourism na makatulong, paano kami makatulong, the Filipino community all over the world and also investor. At the same time, ano ang pwedeng yung i-reward sa aming mga investors and also promoters, the Filipino kababayan natin, na pag bumalik sila ng Pilipinas, meron tayong tinatawag na loyalty or incentive reward system. Both the investors and the ambassador, which are the kababayan natin. Yeah.
Parang kamukha ng tanong ko earlier sa'yo, Jerry. Sige, pero mas palalawigin mo siguro. I-explain mo ng gusto ngayon. Sige.
Yeah, thanks, Remy, for that very important question. But to go back to that earlier question, the pandemic actually resulted in 4.2 million job loss and about 7.9 million people suffering pay cuts. So you can just imagine on the job loss side, okay? Okay, so let's talk about first preparing the Philippines during this drive to restart the travel or the tourism economy. First, we are pivoting to the domestic travel. We have more than 110 million domestic travelers before the pandemic hit us. And obviously, as we return and open the other ready destinations, meaning those with zero or low COVID cases, we now identify what we call travel clusters, where Filipinos can travel to these destinations and help in the recovery of the destination and our tourism economy. Well, we always say that strength from within and protection, we have to make sure that our industry is ready before we really open up the country to international travelers. And the past 1.5 years, DOT has been at the forefront in retraining our tourism workforce, providing economic subsidy, extending soft loans to the small businesses that were affected and workers that were displaced. And now we slowly return to building our economy by introducing also staycation hotels, and then even before we officially open, we are now talking to some big business groups that will bring big groups to the Philippines. We are talking to the UK Clipper race. They're planning to hold the yacht racing event in Subic in February 2022, which will involve 70 yachts, racing yachts, and more than 200 racing participants coming from 24 nationalities. In March, we are hosting the Global Summit of the World Travel and Tourism Council with about 600 to 800 tourism industry leaders, plus about 30,000 online participants. So this is our way of slowly preparing our country before we do the actual reopening. So back to your question, how can overseas Filipinos help promote? Well, we always say that the Filipinos, we are the #1 social media population in the world. So avoid the fake news, spread the positive news, and help in disseminating information which will add positive impressions about the Philippines. And now we are happy that the Philippines was excluded in the red list of the UK. So for those UK travelers, that means that when you return to the country coming from the Philippines, you are no longer required to go on quarantine hotel stay, which is very expensive, costing more than £2,200. Now, we have our own Philippine tourism investment team, which has already set of ready incentives and tax regime which are offered to the overseas Filipino investors. For example, we have our own tourism estate in San Vicente in Palawan. That area has the longest white sand shoreline in the Philippines. So ripe for tourism investments, and we are getting a lot of tourism interest. And for Filipinos, our overseas Filipinos, especially those married to foreigners, that's a good area for investment. We also have the Panglao Tourism Estate in Bohol, basically an enclave of tourism area where you may invest in coastal tourism facilities. to help generate tourism infrastructure and investments in the area. But one thing that I want to really specify is that for Filipinos going to the Philippines, you are not only a leisure traveler, but actually an enabler, which means that when you go to the Philippines, together with your family and your friends, you are able to contribute to the economic, situation in our country, providing livelihood opportunities to our more than 5 million workforce involved directly with the tourism. So you provide not only jobs, but also livelihood opportunities. You are the real true hero for the Philippines. You're not only a tourism, you're not only a tourist, but actually an economic enabler. And for our campaign here in the UK, we are running programs that will entice and enlist the support of our more than 200,000 overseas Filipinos in the UK, believing that we are the true tourism ambassadors, especially those people working in the healthcare. They have very good affinity, good working relations, good feeling, taking care of the British patients. So they're always asked where to go and why visit the Philippines. And all these Filipino frontliners have always good things to say about our country, and they're actually the ones bringing their colleagues and traveling back to the Philippines. So watch out and read our announcements in our website. We are starting with food promotion this October, promoting all these key Filipino restaurants, promoting Filipino cuisine, mainstreaming the Filipino food so that we are patronized by the British consumers. And in November, we are promoting a travel photo competition wherein we ask our Filipinos, our kababayan, to be creative in decorating parts of their home or office to show their favorite destination in the Philippines or activity that they miss doing. So imagine one corner of your house, you decorate it like Boracay or a diving area. And for the biggest winner, we are giving away free trip to the Philippines, including hotel accommodations, together with your special British friend, colleague, partner, or extended family member. And in December, the most exciting program we are running the Singing Heroes Paskong Pinoy 2021. It's a singing contest open to all the NHS healthcare workers in the UK and Ireland. And it's a sing-along contest. The winner gets to have a free trip to the Philippines, including accommodations. The runner-up, free tickets to the Philippines. So very exciting and something to look forward to. Let's all support this program for you, our kababayan in the UK and Ireland.
Doon sa singing contest, medyo judge yata ako, Peps. Nayaya ako doon. So, lalabas yung pagiging folk singer natin. Okay, Remy, may second brief quick question ka ba? Okay, go ahead, please.
Yes,
go.
I acknowledge that that's a wonderful, exciting for us, to go back to the Philippines. I just want to say hello to Marjorie from the U.S. She's my best mate, and she's the owner of the White House in Panglao Island. So it's a nice, yes, wow. She is the owner of White House.
Marjorie, can I be your friend?
Marjorie, yes, okay. USA,
Marjorie,
yeah.
Kami ni Peps, ha?
Yeah. Yeah, invite Marjorie.
White House,
yeah.
Hello,
Marjorie.
Resort niya? Ano pangalan
White
resort
House Resort.
White House saan?
White House Resort.
Saan?
White House.
Saan nga? Saan?
In Panglao Island.
Sa Panglao.
In
Sa Bohol.
Talagang in Panglao, yes. I'm actually, my mother is from Bohol, and going back to Bohol, of course. Of course, okay. Palawan is part of my master's dissertation in tourism and marketing. So because of Borneo, I'm kind of that's the region that I'm interested. Of course, of Bohol. The thing that I would like to reiterate, I know there's a lot of incentives in the investors, but
question
I'm looking at
Remy, question mo yan.
I'm looking at
next question mo.
Yes,
question
yes. Follow-up question is that yung specifically talaga, Jerry, is alam mo yung lahat tayo meron kasi ang tao kasi mahilig sa yung award system. Eh, may award ka, malalaki. Little bits for Filipino, they appreciate. So I was thinking of, di ba meron tayong tinatawag na loyalty? Kung sinong nagkaroon ng maraming, I think there was something in tourism that every time you bring people or introduce, may reward system kasi. Maganda yung may reward system na kung sinong maraming nagdala in medium whatever, yung families and community. So, I wonder whether you can have...
Nawala sa switching. Ayusin mo yun,
Yeah,
Direk.
I see your point, Remy. Actually, in the past, we've run our campaigns in Bring Home a Friend, where we gave out incentive to those Filipinos bringing in their friends. But over the years, actually, hindi mo na kailangan i-reward ang mga Pilipino. That has really become a trend, a challenge, and a noble role of Filipino to bring in your foreign friend. And that is one way of establishing good relations with your friends, at the same time promoting the Philippines. We'll think of another version, but we've done that in the past, offering big cash reward, giving away condominiums and free trips to the Philippines and cars. But I guess we've reached the stage wherein it has become so much a part of us in promoting our country to our friends and actually bringing them to the Philippines. I have some friends in Scotland who brought one group of about 15 couples. They just wanted to see where this friend lives in the Philippines. You know how they want to help also in the community building. So it's a good and noble travel activity, and yeah, that's what we should do. Encouraging people to visit and meet our friendliest Filipinos. And as you may know now, if you're familiar with Condé Nast Traveler magazine, it's the most luxurious travel publication in the world. The readers have voted 3 Philippine islands to be the top 10 best islands in Asia, including Palawan, Siargao, and Boracay. So this is our pride, and even Siargao is the #1 island for TripAdvisor subscribers. So our world-class islands are known around the world. So it's a good selling tool for us, and a source of pride for the Filipinos around the world.
Okay, well,
Yes,
thank you very much,
wonderful.
Jerry.
Yes,
And,
wonderful. Yeah. That's
Remy.
great. That's
Yes,
great.
yes.
Thank you
Galing,
very
no?
much.
Remy,
Yeah,
thank you.
I'm so
ha?
happy.
Maraming
Yeah,
maraming
thank you
salamat
very
sa'yo.
much.
Oo.
Salamat po. Thank you.
Sige, thank
It's
you. Ang galing
We
wonderful.
niya.
should visit you next
Wonderful.
time, Remy, in Sunderland. We'll visit your...
You
Oh.
come down. Yeah, come to come to Borneo. Yes, come to Borneo, Jerry. You're welcome. And
Yes.
Siargao is the best place. It's the mayor of General Luna is my classmate, Sister Resilion. It's wonderful. Yes,
Yeah.
beautiful island.
All right.
Beautiful
Thank
island.
you.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you very much,
Thank
Remy.
you.
Ha? Mabuhay. Ha?
Thank you.
Mabuhay.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Peps. Mabuhay,
Thanks.
Sunny.
Mabuhay. Okay, thank you very much.
salamat.
Mabuhay.
No?
Siargao, yung may-ari ng mga resorts doon, kilala mo, Jerry?
Si Resorts World Manila.
No, because I met somebody a long time ago. I think I remember many years ago, one of those travel marts. She married, I don't know if it was a Russian or something, na nasa basta yung daughter. But anyway, siguro hindi ko na matandaan 'yan.
But Andutan Group, yung Resorts World Manila is Andutan Group.
Oh, okay. Pero yan, malaki yan. That's a whole big group, no?
Yeah.
Teka muna, ang sinasabi ni Remy kanina, para bang contest paramihan lang madadala. I don't know if you ever consider that. Kasi siguro ang ginagawa ninyo, parang, sige, meron tayong BFR contest, visiting friends and family, ganyan, no? Pero parang hindi ka obligadong marami kang dalhin, no? Parang may winner tayong ginawa siguro in the past. Pero parang sinasabi ni Remy, parang paramihan but I don't know how would you tally that? How would you know? Would there be a system of finding out si Remy 50 ang napadala niya sa Pilipinas, si Sunny 30? Hindi pa pwede, hindi possible yung ganung contest, no?
Then, i-email na lang nila ako, winner na sila. We'll help do all the arrangements, with all the big discounts and
Wow.
free arrangements. But the government doesn't do any more rewarding of people bringing in big groups, because actually they are given to professional tour operators, those who are organizing these big events, big companies. Sometimes, nami-mix up yung dalawa and minsan binibigay na lang sa Filipino just to be part of the contest. But like I said, we'll think of a new scheme and we're past that. We've done that in the past. So now, as I said, it has become inherent for Filipinos to be the tourism promoters in the world without being incentivized or being given an award.
Tama ka, mga Pinoy talaga, ano yan yan ang pinaka-best ambassadors, So, yun na lang, parang may sariling, kumbaga, parang because you're proud of your country and then you do these things, no? Maski walang incentivization, di ba? Peps, yeah, go
We
ahead.
should do these things, no? Dapat yan ang gawin natin, Sunny, di ba? Bilang Filipino, I think it's our duty to do that, no?
To help in promoting the country. Love of country, ika nga, di ba? Di ba? Oo.
At merong shout out, e-learning group,
Ayan, sige.
UK,
Nasa,
na nanonood ngayon. Galing kay Norma, Viloria, no?
Viloria, tingnan natin papasok.
Nagpapa-shout out, no?
Nasa YouTube
Shout out
tayo.
din sa Friday group, no?
Okay. Sandali. Habulin ba natin?
Friday group.
Ayan, Amron, sino ba to? Virginia Alona.
Di Norma Viloria yan.
Oo. Yeah. Pero asan tayo sisimula? Okay, greetings. Virginia Alona. Yan, sige, go ahead. Virginia Alona. Sige, pasok natin si Virginia. Go ahead, please. Yan.
Greetings, good afternoon. Watching from Gothenburg, Sweden.
Wow.
Mabuhay.
Ay, tama. Pasok kay Jerry yan. Scandinavia. No? Diba?
Yeah.
Oo. Although Pinoy yan, yung mga taga-Scandinavia at tinatarget ni Jerry, no? Ng tourism. Okay. Sige. Amron, Irol, si Norma. Sige.
Norma, no? Viloria, hello po mga poging sirs. Watching from Barnes.
Uy, thank you. Maraming salamat. Malinaw ang mata niya, no? Peps, no? So,
Oo nga,
sa mga
malinaw
viewers
ang mata
natin.
ni Norma hanggang ngayon. Margarita Sinanse.
Pati mata nila, high definition. Okay.
Watching from London. Hello everyone,
Sinanse.
no?
Ayan. Ayan, watching from London. Hello everyone.
Si Norma uli, no? Si Norma uli, Sir Sunny and Sir Peps, pa-shout out mga ELG UK members na nanonood ngayon.
Mabuhay.
Mabuhay po kayo. ELG po, e-learning group, no?
Yes.
UK.
Ayan. Kay Virginia Alona ulit tayo, Peps. Sige, go ahead.
Ito, no? Ito, para kay Jerry to. Hello,
Director,
Tito Peps and Sunny.
yeah.
Is there a possibility that I can work for Philippine tourism for 2 weeks? I just need a sponsor for lodging. I will work for free. Salamat po. I mean, Philippine tourism in London, no? Gusto niyang pumunta dito. Baka pwede daw mag part-time ng 2 weeks. Diyan sa iyo.
Ganun, kakaiba yan. Mukhang bagong bago kay Jerry yan. That's something new.
Oo,
no?
hindi tanong. No? Iba yung tanong. Iba yung tanong. Jerry, pwede daw ba?
Pwede ba yun? Hindi, baka ma-on the spot si Jerry. Siguro pwedeng off-air na lang nila pagsulatan yan. Pwedeng email. Tama ba, Jerry?
Mas maraming provisions ng Crystal Travel dyan tayo. Mga short-term jobs.
Ayan, email mo lang, siguro i-message mo, Virginia, we could probably send it to Jerry, no?
Pero hindi...
Yeah, sorry, Peps.
Si Ed Abdallah, magandang gabi po sa lahat. Watching from Kuwait.
Okay, next. Ayan.
Si Norma uli, no? Hello, Ma'am Myla, makahilig.
Ayan, from Norma,
nakita niya pala na nanonood si Myla, no?
Yes.
Yan
Good.
Myla.
Okay. Meron tayong magtatanong, Peps. Andito, naka-ready na. Napakaganda nito, Peps. Becca na mo. Ngayon, para siyang artista sa Pilipinas, no? Mga back in the 70s or 80s, ganyan, no?
At na-discover ko, Sunny, meron pala silang mutual experience ni Jerry, no? Alamin natin pagka nandyan na siya.
Let's say hello. Andito na. Let's say hello to Dina Trinidad from Beckenham, London. Hello, Dina. Welcome to the program.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon to all the viewers, and hello to all of you out there.
Dina.
Hi, Dina.
Tell us a little something about yourself, no? Who are you? What are you doing here in the UK? What do you do? I mean, and kailan ka pa rito sa United Kingdom?
I've been here 24 years. I'm an entrepreneur. I have an online business. I distribute anti-aging gadgets, and I help other people start their own online shops, if you like. Yeah.
Anti-aging products. So parang
Yes,
kitang-kita
we
na sa'yo,
have.
no?
Sunny, kailangan natin yan.
Oh, anti-aging. No, anti-aging or anti-aging. Wow, okay. Pero how did you get into it? Okay, so it's online and you're promoting anti-aging products, but how did you get into it? Is this something new or something that you've been doing for the past 5 or 10 years out of the 24 years?
No, out of the 24 years, I first came here back in '97. After I used to fly for Emirates, and I met my now ex-husband. We're not going to go into that, but so we started a family here. I have 2 grown-up kids. One is 23 and the other one's 20. And I was a full-time mom up until the youngest went to senior school. And one day, one of my friends invited me to a Pamper Day, and she said, well, she was on maternity leave and she needed to do this. She was going to do this side gig. So right in front of me, she did a demo where half the face of this, she had a gadget, and half the face of our friend looked like she had a stroke. This was after 15 minutes of doing it. So I was like, oh my God, what is that? So of course I was approaching my, the big 50s back then, and I wanted to have one of those, and so I bought one. I used it. I went to the Philippines for a month. When I came back after using this, everyone noticed the difference by the time I got here. So the business just started that way. I wasn't thinking of doing it. I actually had just qualified to be an English teacher here in the UK because I went back to college, and yeah, so when my friends saw the difference, they said, what have you done? I said, well, I just bought this little gadget. And before I knew it, they all wanted one. And that's how the business started.
Wow. So you were a flight stewardess for Kuwait Airlines before?
No, I flew for Saudi first, and then I flew for Emirates.
Sorry,
a total
Emirates.
Of,
Pero yun nga, flight stewardess.
Yeah.
Ayan, kaya naman pala. Yung gadget mo, sa mukha namin ni Peps, mga ilang ang mababawas? Mga 5 or 10 years?
It depends. Of course, like anything, you have to use it regularly. And yeah, if you're consistent, then of course it will work. Tito Peps knows.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Dahil
Si Jerry.
Sunny,
Yes, Peps. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Bumili yung asawa ko eh.
Bumata
At
asawa
ako
mo.
pinag-practicean nung una.
Right, oh. So namamangha ka ngayon kay Julie, pagtingin mo sa kanan mo o sa kaliwa, wherever, kunyari, pag nakahiga kayo, wow, ang bata ng aking misis. Ganun ba? Feeling? But very good. Oh, okay.
Pero I just found out something kanina, no? Schoolmates pala sila.
Okay.
UP Asian Institute of Tourism graduate din pala si Dina, no? Which I just found out today.
Okay. Well, Dina,
Yeah.
there's Jerry, yung schoolmate. Yeah, my schoolmate, bale. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I graduated before him. So anyway, I have a question for you. What measures have the DOT put in place to help tourism-related businesses, particularly small business owners, who were affected by the current pandemic?
Sa Pilipinas yan. Sa Pilipinas. Ayan, Jerry. Marami naman walang trabaho, di ba? Na-mention mo kanina. How many? Di ba? Ay, nawala. Direct. Ayan, okay. Go ahead, Jerry. Go ahead.
Well, the support comes in two main parts. One is the cash for work subsidy. As you know, the government allocated a total of 10 billion pesos. That's a big amount of money, where 60% was earmarked for the provision or the support of soft loans to the small businesses, while 40% went to the provision of cash subsidy to those affected employees, displaced workers in the tourism industry. The DOT was in charge of giving cash provision of 5,000 pesos, not much, but enough to at least get through the pandemic challenges a bit. But for the small businesses, it depends on the classification of the companies. Like small businesses were granted soft loan for as high as, or as in the case of UK, not really high, 5 million. For medium enterprises, about 3 million. And for micro enterprises, about 300,000 pesos. So the Department of Tourism work with small businesses and DTI, including Dole, in granting these soft loans to the most meritorious cases, or yes, those who most needed it. So that's
Well, that's good.
our form. Yes, not much, but as you know, here in the UK, we have a lot of support. You know, we started with the 2,500 cash furlough program by the government, 80% borne by the UK, 20% with the company. And for those who were really displaced, they were given like furlough. But for those companies with the travel industry, they were given cash provision from as low as 4,000 to 9,000 pounds. So different support, but at least in the Philippines, we have this system in place for the benefit of those affected small businesses and direct employees.
Curious si Dina, ano pinagagawa ng Philippine Department of Tourism, no? Para sa mga small entrepreneurs.
Separate from that, we also did for the past year, more than 1 year, we've been doing online training to upskill, upgrade the training of our tourism personnel. And we also provide digital marketing support so that we are able to support them in our digital promotions. And also provided education grant for those most deserving tourism frontliners.
Ayan.
Among other things. Yes.
Satisfied ka na ba, Dina? Are you happy hearing
Yeah, it's good to hear that.
PIDOT has done? Okay. To address yung mga concerns na yan. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Well, as a small business owner, of course, I feel for those who were greatly affected by what's happening with the economy right now. So I have another question. So with the decrease in international tourists, the country has had a chance to focus on domestic tourism. So would the DOT now consider focusing more on ecotourism, as this promotes a more sustainable future for the country and the planet?
Pwede na ba umikot muna, Jerry? Pwede na ba? Let's say ako si Sonny Laragan, taga Metro Manila. Pwede na ba ako magpupunta maski saan? Sa mga resorts sa Pilipinas?
Yes, designated areas with low risk. Like for example, zero case in Boracay. Siargao is open, Ilocos provinces. So, ecotourism has always been an integral part of our tourism promotions. As we say, tourism is nothing without the environment. And we've done that in the case of Boracay, and that has become a template in how we promote ecotourism and how we maintain this environment all over the country. And we tell everyone that if you don't comply with the environmental policies and laws, then we will shut down the same way we did for Boracay. So it's a good thing that all the other destinations are supporting our campaign to really keep the environment in its ideal form so that we are able to protect it and offer it for future generations. But we always support ecotourism in whatever form. Basically, it supports low-impact travel to areas with environmental importance. And many travelers around the world are looking for this. Those who are more conscious about environmental protection, sustainability, it's always a case. And now what we have now, the byword or the byline in new tourism concept is regenerative tourism. Before, when we talk about sustainable travel, we try to avoid areas so that we don't add the impact or stress to the environment. But now we don't only do that, but we actually put more life to the environment by supporting, for example, planting of trees, lowering carbon footprint, and the likes. So the Philippines is one with the global community in promoting ecotourism so that we are able to sustain tourism at all levels.
Okay, well, Dina, satisfied ka ba sa mga sagot ng schoolmate mo? No? From the Asian Institute of Tourism ba yan? Hindi ko alam.
Yeah,
Akala
well-
ko kasi Asian Institute of Management, nasa Makati yan, di ba? Peps? Parang ano? Kaya akala
yeah.
ko, hindi UP. Di ba? May pala, UP pala yun. Asian Institute of Tourism. Oh. Pero ikaw, Jerry,
part of
magkaiba kayong
UP.
dalawa. Di ba, sabi mo, the reason why you got in, you wanted to travel, see the world. Iba, itong si ano, sa kagandahan niya, hindi niya na kailangan ng AIT degree, no? Yung kagandahan niya, dinala siya sa Saudia Airlines ba? Saudia nga ba? Was it Saudia? And then,
Saudia.
Yeah.
Emirates.
Emirates.
Oh, kita mo
Emirates.
yan. Bara mo, doon niya nabighani yung kanyang, ayaw niya ng pag-usapan ngayon, di ba? So, yun.
Ano yan? Hindi mo na itatanong, Sonny, Jerry.
Oo.
Dina is also an officer of the Batangas Association UK.
Wow, really, yeah. Okay. Wow, that's nice to know, Dina. So,
Akala ko dating beauty queen.
Oo nga. Di ba?
Yeah.
Beauty queen na-enhance pa nung kanyang online business na gadgets, di ba? Di. Oh, kaya maganda. Mabuhay ka. Ha? That's good. Dina, thank you. Maraming salamat sa iyong pagtatanong do sa iyong schoolmate, no? From UP. At sana magkita kayo. Nakita na ba kayong dalawa before in person?
No,
Hindi
but
Hindi pa.
I think because nauna ako sa kanya sa AIT. Yeah.
No, dito. Nakita na ba kayo sa UK?
Oh yeah, no, I haven't seen
Hindi pa rin.
it.
Okay. Maski nauna ka sa UP sa kanya, hindi pa rin kayo nagkita. Dito, hindi pa rin kayo nagkita. Nag-abot na kayo. Baka mamaya,
Very soon.
kailan natapos ang tour of duty mo, Jerry? Sorry, para lang malaman ko, baka mamaya matapos ang tour of duty mo, hindi kayo magkita nito sa Dina. Kailan ka matatapos?
Next year.
Next year pa. May chance pa. May isang taon pa. So, Dina, thank you very much. Mabuhay sa'yo. And
Thank you
glad to
very
know
much,
that you're a
Dina,
part of Batangas
Thank you for
Association.
having me.
Yes, mabuhay.
Thank you.
Ayan, Jerry, kita mo naman, magaling, mga tanong ng ating mga kababayan. Para kang nasa di ba? Para kang nasa, ano ba tawag dito? Yung mga talagang mga direktang questions, no? Parang straight from the shoulder.
Yep.
Ayan, di ba? So,
Kaya maganda, Sonny, may laman yung tanong, may laman din yung sagot.
ayun,
Diba?
may laman yung tanong, may laman yung sagot. Tama yan.
May laman
Oo.
din yung sagot.
Mahusay itong ating
At
director.
nakakatuwa naman, Sonny.
Oh.
Di ba nag-message si Norma kanina, hello Ma'am Myla, from Norma Biloria, no?
Oo.
Sumagot si Ma'am Myla.
Ba? Asan? Tingnan natin. Dali lang, ha?
Sumagot, no?
Dali nga, sandali lang. Tingnan natin. Ayun, si Ma'am Myla. Oo. Uy. Ayan.
Oo. Iyan, no?
Oo.
Norma, no? Hello po, Miss Norms. And good afternoon, Tito Peps and Tito Sonny. And greeting to the indefatigable Sir Jerry.
Yan ang description ko kay Jerry kanila. Indefatigable. Ba? Ninakaw ni Ambassador Myla Makahilig. Hiniram. Okay. Napakasipag talaga nito si Director. Director pala. No? Director.
Oo.
Jerry.
Yung level niya, director no?
Anong susunod mo,
Pero
Jerry?
meron din akong gustong itanong kay Jerry, no?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, yes.
At
Peps.
medyo seryoso ito, Jerry, no? Hanggang ngayon ba,
Yes.
up to now, magkamukha pa rin ba kayo nung iyong twins?
Magkamukha pa rin kami.
Identical twin.
Hanggang ngayon? Identical. Alam mo, Sani, pagka nakita mo yung mga pictures nila
Oo.
nung araw, magkamukha.
Wow.
And then, kinikwento ko nga sa iyo si Secretary Jimenez, Mon Jimenez, yung kaibigan natin,
The late Mon Jimenez,
nag-present
no?
sa Congress ng budget, no?
Oo.
Nakita yung kapatid niya.
Mhm.
Tinatawag nila, Jerry! Kailangan dumating. Lumapit naman para sabihin, hindi po
I'm the
ako
twin
si
brother. Oo, twin
Si
brother.
Teo nga. Bago nung, ay Teo, ikaw pala yan.
Oo.
So up to now, Jerry, ano pa rin kayo? Identical pa rin, ha?
Identical pa rin, pero parang mas malaki ko sa kanya. Pero ang importante lang, pag nag-aaway kami, hindi kami nagtatawagan ng pangit eh. So kahit nag-aasawa na kami, bawal pagtawagan ng pangit.
Meron kayong unwritten rule na parang kailangan din, mag-aaway tayo, walang ganyanan, ha? Kasi pag sinabi mo yan, parang mo na rin sinabi sa sarili mo. Parang gano'n, diba? Oh, that's good.
Kaya
Jerry,
nga,
so meron kang singing contest na gagawin, okay, for mga frontliners. Ano pa ba mga proyekto natin ngayon? Tomorrow, you're leaving for Italy, Rimini, and then you're going to Denmark, no? Okay. Ano tong nasa Italy na to? Bakit natin tinatarget ang Italy, no? Italians, of course, syempre, tinatarget natin. Ano tayo dyan? Kasing laki ba yan nandito sa Excel? Can you tell us, parang kwentuhan mo kami, paano ba ang nangyayari dyan sa Rimini?
Well, ang platform ng travel fair is that it's an area, it's a place, trade event where we meet all the important travel operators. Ito yung mga tour operators, travel agents, airlines, to conduct business in promoting international travel, as in our case, travel of Italians to the Philippines.
Okay. Sa'yo ba yan, Jerry? Sa'yo?
Oh. Yan. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So parang yung sa ang pinakamalaking edition is yung World Travel Market in London, pero yung smaller scale, meron yung TTG Rimini in Italy. Meron din Madrid Fitur in Spain. But ang pinakamalaki, ITB Berlin and yung World Travel Market. So the idea is to engage all these tour operators, important tour operators, to think and promote, to think of the Philippines when we reopen, especially for the winter holidays. Yun yung expected nilang magbubukas tayo. So we are softly positioning our country for the winter vacationers in Europe.
Okay, so itong sa Frankfurt ba, sa Germany, at saka itong sa World Travel Mart sa UK, medyo malaki. Itong mga sinasabi mo pupuntahan, ano yan, parang one-fourth of the size of, or the scope, or ng itong...
One-third yan.
One-third.
Mga one-third.
Jerry, bago mag-pandemic, sa buong Europe, well, siguro doon na lang sa hawak mo na lang, yung North and South plus Turkey and Israel, saan ang pinakamaraming mga pumupunta sa Pilipinas? Mga French ba? French wala sa'yo, no? Mga Spanish ba? Italian, Portuguese, UK, Danes, Swedes, or Norwegians? Ano bang doon sa mga hawak mo? Sino ang pinakamarami?
Well, all over Europe, ang pinaka number one is ang United Kingdom. We have more than 210,000 Brits going to the Philippines. And before the pandemic, actually, yung British travel to the Philippines was actually the second highest in terms of growth rate, next to Vietnam. So we have a very good market recall and association for the Brits. And then second then is Germany, which is half of the load production ng UK, about 100,000. And down the line, we have France and also Spain and Italy. So they are also important. Although yung mga Spain and Italy, mga 50,000 yan, mga production to the Philippines.
You've been aggressive sa naging aggressive kayo sa Scandinavia. Sometimes I would hear you, galing kami ron, punta kami ron, no? So, kumusta naman? How are we improving in terms of enticing or encouraging these Scandinavians or Nordic countries to come to the Philippines?
Well, ngayon, we are a bit challenged because the Philippines remains closed to international travel. But what we're doing now, we are reassuring, reestablishing contacts with our major partners so that when they are able to sell again the Philippines, we are ready to be part of their program, and we're looking at maybe first quarter of next year, we are able to reopen so that we are still able to put the Philippines in their program and revive Scandinavian travel to the Philippines. After all, combining yung Scandinavia, we have about 70,000 Scandinavian travelers to the Philippines. So it's big. It's also a big market source for us.
Yung news na pleasant surprise to na ang Philippines wala na sa red list countries ng dito, di ba? So yan ba, meron kayo kaagad na preparasyon, planning, how to promote, or yan ba'y nung lumabas ang balita, mag-iisip na kayo ng kung paano natin to take advantage perhaps of the Christmas or the, itong mga next immediate 1 or 2 months from now? Meron bang ganun o long-term mga planning ninyo?
Actually, nag-pivot kagad ang Philippines nung nangyari yung nawala tayo, na-release tayo sa red list ng red list countries ng UK. Before that, ang Philippines, a day before that or 2 days before that, nag-issue rin tayo ng new policy that starting 2 days ago, allowed na yung yellow and green under one category, and then if you're fully vaccinated, 5 days na lang yung quarantine in a facility, and then next 5 days at home. So we did that. So may parallel approach din tayo, but overall, ang pinaka immediate concern ng Philippines now is to make sure that we are ready and we have world-class compliant safety programs in place, so that we are able to run our programs safely and successfully. And as we say, and we keep reminding people that when you travel to the Philippines, you will still find it more fun, definitely, but safer Philippines.
Are we ready or readying ourselves? Are we able to open the whole Philippines? Pero ang na-mention mo, may mga areas Ilocos, Palawan ba? At saka mga Boracay. Ilan ang pwede nang puntahan? Let's say, punta tayo Pilipinas. Medyo nabitin tayo sa traveling. Saan kami pwede pumunta sa Pilipinas?
Well, now, yung mga allowed ng mga overseas Filipinos to go back, and we are operating based on the government alert system, yung mga low-risk destinations, like yung Ilocos provinces, yung Baguio, yung Boracay, yung El Nido, Palawan,
El Nido,
Bohol, Siargao. Ang ano naman sa Philippines naman, I think 70% of the destinations are in low risk category. Ang napapabalita lang masyado yung mga like NCR, because it's a major gateway. But yeah, it's now currently in medium risk. So as we said before, the formal reopening of our country to restart our travel, we are now engaging to mga big partners to run packet programs, yung mga travel bubbles. We did already flight bubbles with Taiwan, which ran some flights to the Philippines until now. And as we mentioned a while ago, we are running the biggest yacht race, one of the biggest yacht races in the world, the Subic Clipper Race in February 2022, ahead of our formal reopening. So these things, even yung Survivor Israel series, the global reality program, the whole production crew and cast were in Karamoan. We're in Karamoan for 2.5 months of filming, and yeah, it was done successfully, and they are now all back in Israel, and it will be launched by the end of this month.
Okay. Yung Clipper, ikaw ba nag-initiate niyan? Did you do it? Because you were mentioning an event global sa Pilipinas. Yan, maaring Department of Tourism on the whole, no? Pero ito bang sa Clipper na sinasabi mo na mga yate from the UK, ito yan, ikaw yan, nag-initiate yan?
Well, we are in coordination with the UK-based organizer. We did this last year. We already ran this last year, but naipit sila sa pandemic. So,
okay.
Dati, meron lang mga 120 participants. Now, they even made it bigger with more than 200 participants going back to continue the races.
Jerry, ang Metro Manila medyo may counting restrictions. Would it be advisable or would it be a good strategy for our kababayans to fly sa direkta na sa mga Bohol o direkta na sa Cebu o direkta na sa mga Ilocos? Meron bang mga flight na from the, I don't know, si PEPS makakasagot niyan. Mas mabuti bang strategy yun rather than mag-Manila sila? Baka mas makaikot pa sila?
Ang main gateways naman kasi is Metro Manila, Clark, and Cebu. And meron din international flights to Davao. So, it doesn't make sense kung dapat pupunta ka dun sa gateway na malapit sa uwian mong probinsya. So, that's how it goes. And as it is, they go with this short quarantine na lang for 5 days as long as they are fully vaccinated. Then from there, point-to-point ng travel kasi we allow travel point-to-point.
So kung saan sa malapit, then North Clark, no? Parang ganyan, no?
Yes,
kung ano, Cebu.
Ang problema lang, Sonny,
PEPS.
mas konti ang flights to the other destination, no? Sa Clark, mas konti ang flights diyan. Sa Cebu, mas konti ang flights. Sa Davao, no? Dan Manila. Kaya ang karamihan, Manila pa rin bumabagsak. No?
Ayan, oo. Okay.
Because it has the most connections, no? To the provinces, Manila, yung mga uuwi ng probinsya, no? But ang ano naman yan, at least ngayon, ang quarantine is done in Manila. Dahil dati, pagpunta mo ng probinsya, another quarantine eh.
Okay.
Di ba, Jerry, dati?
Depende ko ano ang local regulation ng
Yung LGU, no? Kanya-kanya kasing
yeah,
yun ang problema. That's why we always tell passengers, please check kung yung sa mga kamag-anak nyo with the LGU, no? Yung local government unit, kung ano ang kanilang patakaran. Dahil yun ang, at least, hindi ka mukha dito no? Yung patakaran sa Surrey, it's the same sa Yorkshire, sa iba't ibang lugar, ano? Sa atin, remember dati, tumawid lang from Pasay to Manila, sakit na ng ulo dati. No? Because you needed clearances. So, yun ang it has to be, well, at least nag-order yung government natin, yung protocols to honor yung initial na quarantine, ano? Pero ang problema kung minsan meron pa rin mga LGUs, lalo na yung may mga mataas ang cases na medyo stricto, no? So that's why we always tell people, check with your LGU, no? Kung ano ang kanilang patakaran.
Ayan.
Yeah. Well, ang kasi ang reality natin dito is that we still have high infection cases, especially in Metro Manila. And in the UK, we had our own share of yung mga pocket lockdown. Some areas were not allowed to, we were not allowed to visit with high infection cases. But ang maganda kasi sa UK, mataas na yung vaccination rate natin. So basically, we are back in the normal, back to usual business type. But in the Philippines, there are some areas which have still experiencing high infection cases. That's the reason why meron mga different lockdown protocols in different communities.
Hindi ko alam kung alam mo, Jerry, sa balita sa GMA kanina na ang Delta variant yata parang pawala na sa Metro Manila. O sa Pilipinas o sa Metro Manila. Parang mabilis lang na daanan ko. So that would be good news if, mas paano magluluwag ng konti, no? Headed towards Christmas, no? Sinasabi mo, the Philippines we are readying ourselves or are ready, no? Getting ready, sabi mo. So sana ready na. Okay, well I guess baka meron kang mensahe, Director, no? Jerry, no? Baka may naitanong kami, hindi kami naitanong, no, sa iyo na nais mong ipaliwanag, ipahatid o ipaabot sa ating mga kababayan. Go right ahead please, Director.
Maraming salamat sa inyo, Tito Peps and Sonny. And as we always say, we always turn to our kababayan not only in the UK but around the world, because naturally you are our tourism promoters and you have good work relations. Our British counterparts here look up to you, very responsible people, especially in the healthcare industry. It's so easy for us to show by example the kind of people we are as a community, as Filipinos, as individuals. And the key really is to know more about our destinations. Visit our website, www.itsmorefuninthephilippines.co.uk. Learn more, read more about our destination, so you are equipped in convincing, in sharing all this good information about our country, so that by the time when we reopen, we will be able to bring more of our British friends, foreigners to visit the Philippines. I mentioned this and I will repeat again and again. When you go to the Philippines, you are not only a tourist, but really an economic partner of the country, because with your visit, it provides economic opportunities, livelihood and job opportunities for our kababayan who are directly or indirectly working for the tourism industry. And as you know, tourism is definitely a economic pillar of our country, providing big forex revenues to the Philippines, together with OFW remittances, BPOs, exports, and economic zones. So let's protect and promote our tourism industry, starting here in the UK. And as we always say, in the future, one day soon, when we travel back to the Philippines, it's more fun and safer in the Philippines. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay ang mga Pilipino at ating bansa.
Mabuhay ka rin. Maraming salamat,
Jerry,
mga kaibigan.
mabuhay ka.
Mga kaibigan, ang director po ng Northern and Southern Europe po ng Philippine Department of Tourism dito po sa Europa, si Mr. Jerry Gerardo Panga. Thank you, Jerry. Mabuhay till the next.
For UK, no?
Yes, so mahusay. Nagmasteral pa, no? Sa ng kanyang tourism. Oo. At ano pa yan? Di ba? He's very fluent in Italian. At marami tayong nalaman din sa kanya, no? Very conversant na. Oo. Si Remy, kanina, she wanted to find out ano ba ang pwede nating mga, yun nga, siguro, benepisyo, negosyo, mga incentives. So, pwede natin pag-usapan yan. Pwedeng mag-band together aside from encouraging kababayans or mga British friends, no, na pumunta ron. Yun nga, pwede rin tayong magdala ng investment doon. Naku, nakalimutan ko. May binanggit si Jerry na parang Palawan. Sabi niya, yung mahabang, longest white sand yun eh. Peps, naalala mo yung sinabi niya?
Sinabi niya kanina.
Oo, na yun ang maganda mag-invest yata doon sa lugar nun. Oo. Oo, kaya lang, tanong lang, pa-message lang natin. Pero maganda ho yan. It's nice to know that somehow we can help, no? Not only bringing kababayans and friends, na British friends, pero tayo mismo mag-invest.
Na mag-invest, no?
Oo, yeah, Peps.
Tsaka ang isa pa, it's good na nalinaw niya, no? Yung sitwasyon in the Philippines as far as visitors to the Philippines are concerned from the UK, no? At dahil marami kasi nagtatanong, tinignan nila yung listahan ng green at listahan ng red, wala ang UK, pero hindi naman sila nagre-release ng listahan ng yellow, no? So ang UK pala is yellow, but ang quarantine rules, it's the same for yellow and green, no? So at least nalinawan natin 'yan. At kung vaccinated ka, 5 days plus 5 days.
Government yung parang appointed institution
approved,
like hotels.
Quarantine facility.
Quarantine facilities.
Bago yung mga nagtatanong po, magkano naman? Nasa sa inyo po 'yan. Kung magkano ang gagastusin nyo sa quarantine facilities, ano? Kung gusto nyo ng mura,
mamimili
yung
ka ng
mga
hotel.
Oo, ikaw ang mamimili kasi ng hotel, no? It's your choice. You could go for opt for a 5-star hotel. Siyempre, pagka 5-star, ibig sabihin mas mahal, no?
Yes.
Or you could go for there are Sogo hotels which are part of the quarantine facilities, no?
Pati Sogo?
Pati Sogo, pasok yan, no? So, yun, mura, no? Pag yung mga OWA members naman, kamukha nung isang OWA member na pasahero ko, umuwi, sa Sogo ilinagay ng OWA, no?
May nang-check, di ba? May mga nag-short time sa Sogo, di ba?
Hindi. Yung Sogo hotel nila, pang-quarantine lang ngayon, no? Yung tinirahan niya.
Okay. Kasi di ba, Sogo nung araw, pag mga gusto mag-short time, di ba? Yan ang mga pinupunta.
Yan, oo. Kaso, tinanong nila wala daw short time yung quarantine
Hindi, kasi quarantine kaya
hindi ka daw pwedeng magsama sa kwarto
So depende. Doon siguro sa Sogo, may makakain ba sa Sogo? Baka naman, biscuit lang no? Pero kung nasa 5-star ka, di ba?
Nagpapabili sila.
Nagpapabili lang, oo.
Pero alam mo yung pasahero ko, natutuwa ako. Nung pinadala niya sa akin yung picture ng Sogo Hotel niya.
Oo.
No? Kapitbahay nung family home namin nung araw, no? From 1959, doon kami nakatira sa Banawe. No? Yung palang apartment sa tabi namin, ginawa ng Sogo Hotel na ngayon, ginawang building at naging hotel, no? Sogo Hotel.
Di mas malapit?
Sa Banawe yun, bago dumating ng Del Monte, no? One block away from Del Monte. 1 block from Siena College, from Biak na Bato.
So, ganun ang gagawin mo. Kunyari, uwi ho tayo ng Pilipinas, siguro mamimili ka yung pinakamalapit doon sa bahay mo kung saan ka talagang, di ba?
Yes. Yun ang laging sinasabi ko, no? Piliin mo na yung malapit sa inyo, no? Para madali kang sunduin. At kung gusto kang dala ng pagkain ng kamag-anak mo, pwedeng iwanan doon, no? Hindi lang nila pwedeng iakyat sa iyo. Iiwanan sa gwardiya, no? Sa porter, at sila mag-aakyat sa iyo, no? Sa kwarto mo. So,
malaking pera ang dinadala ng tourism sa ating bansa, no? And si Jerry has a very big responsibility, no? At saludo tayo sa kanya dahil somehow pinapatakbo niya hawak niya north, south, and then Turkey and ano tawag dito, Israel, no? So malawak.
Yeah.
Malawak ang ginagawa nitong ni Jerry, no?
Kung iisipin mo, no, ang laki-laki ng area, dalawa lang silang naghahati.
Ano yung nasa Frankfurt? Is it Germany?
Yung nasa Frankfurt, no, si Maggie, si Meg,
Oo.
kaibigan din natin yan, si Maggie, no? Frankfurt, yung kalahati
Maggie ba,
naman ng Europe.
ano na,
kanya.
parang Eastern Europe naman na hawak? Yung mga Poland siguro, ganun, mga Czech
Eastern,
Republic, Austria, lahat
at
na nandun.
Western, ano, so
Western, no?
yun ang kanilang, yung paghahati nila, no? Pinaghatian nilang, ang Europa, at silang dalawa lang, biro mo, ang hawak nila, napakalaking area, no? Hindi biro-biro ang Europe.
Yung
Malaki
brother niya, PEPS, assistant solicitor, assistant Solgen, hindi ko alam kung in a few years, pwede kaya maging assistant secretary of the Department of Tourism kaya to, si Jerry? At
Hindi
least may
natin
kaibigan
masabi,
tayo.
no?
Kasi kaibigan natin si Mon Jimenez. Proud tayo na, di ba, pag naging assistant secretary si, or USEC ba, o gano'n, no? Di ba? Si Jerry.
USEC, undersecretary, assistant secretary, no?
Lahat na ng mga secretary, hinawakan na ng Panga family sa, malay mo, pati yung brother niya sa budget. Maging USEC. USEC na kaya ba yung brother niya? Yung si Teo?
I don't know kung ano ngayon. Si Teo, ang pangalan ni Teo.
Teo. No? Anong posisyon kaya ni Teo ngayon? Malaman nga natin dahil baka mamaya ang Pilipinas puro Panga family ang mga nandiyan dyan. Ngayon, secretary ng malay mo, maging secretary ng Solicitor, Office of the Solicitor General. Si Eric Panga. Tapos Jerry Panga.
Family of public servants.
Yes,
yan,
judge and
5 sa 8. No?
5
Bago
sa 8.
si Jerry at saka yung kakambal niya na si Teo, pareho pang public servants din, ano?
Yes,
Talagang dedicated para magsilbi para sa bayan, no? At batiin ko lang, no, Linda Evio from Merthyr Tydfil, no?
Go ahead.
Kasi Linda Evio ng Merthyr Tydfil sa Wales, no, nanonood ngayon.
Linda
at meron
Evio,
dito,
mabuhay.
Mary Sol Pimentel is watching.
Wow, watching. Ano yan, okay.
So that means you're not working.
May tanong sana dito kay Jerry, does platforms like, from sa YouTube natin, maganda rin tong makita lang ni baka makita ni Director. Ayan lang.
Promoting the islands,
does platforms like YouTube and Facebook help the DOT cause of promoting the islands? If it does, how do we preserve the sanctity of island life from over-tourism? Bigat ng tanong na yan. Next time, party siguro si kay Jerry, no? Di ba? Hanggang next year pa naman siya.
Actually,
so, pwede pa natin makuha pa uli yan.
Nasagot ni ano yan. Nasagot ni Jerry yan kanina when he mentioned yung ginawa sa Boracay, ano? At yung mga ginagawa ngayon sa mga iba-iba. Yan, yung control, no? Yung control.
Walang inuman, walang doon sa labas.
Yan, so
mga ganun.
May mga sinabi siya, and then he mentioned some other places in the Philippines na winarning na if you abuse, mawawala ka, no? Mangyayari rin sa inyo yung nangyari sa Boracay, no? So
sige, direct i-flash mo lang yung mga messages na titira diyan habang nag-uusap lang kami ni Peps, no? Doon sa sinabi ni
it is more fun in the Philippines. Mabuhay ka rin, Virginia.
Yan, it's more fun in the Philippines. So, yan. Remy Barr-Smith, good morning. Nagbabatian sila ni Marjorie Renner. Uy, Peps, may bago tayong kaibigan. Marjorie Renner, may-ari ng resort saan? Saan niya? White House?
Sa Panglao.
White
House, Panglao.
Ayan, mga kaibigan, White House, Panglao. Ayan, pinopromote na natin.
Ano kaya ang kulay ng bahay na yun?
Baka mamaya, pangalan niyo, White House, kulay green. O kaya orange ang kulay ng di ba? Di ba? So, ayan, and tourism talaga, maganda talaga. Alam mo, yung anak natin, tayo tatanda, mawawala tayo, anak natin, panahon ng apo natin, ang tourism, never ending yan habang buhay. Generations unto generation unto generation. Andiyan pa rin ang tourism.
Tsaka merong may mga pahabol na bati, no? Si Bernadette Bisdi. No?
Si Bernadette.
Nakita mo, Pau?
Direct, Bernadette Bisdi. Naku, milyonarya yan. Kaibigan natin yan. Maraming properties yan, no? Si Bernadette Bisdi. Bernadette Bisdi. Asan ba si Bernadette Bisdi? Bernadette Bisdi. Tinahanapin lang natin.
Hi, Sunny, Laragan, and PEPS Villanueva. Greetings
Ben?
from Twickenham. And
Taas
enjoying
mo.
and listening to to your show. Regards, Bernadette. No?
Baka lumusot dito, hindi nakita. Ito na ba, latest natin, direct? Yan na ba? Ito na ba yan? Ito last natin. Ito, tignan natin. Una ba yan? Una ba? Third? Ayan.
Bago may
Okay.
question siya, Mr. Panga, do we need to have a vaccine certificate from UK? Yes
Hindi.
po. No?
Okay, hindi lumabas.
Yan, alam ko yan.
Peps.
We
Hindi
need to
lumabas
get
ito.
it from the NHS app, no?
Oo.
You have to download the app at i-ano mo doon, no?
Yeah.
Yun ang honored na certificate. Yung pong appointment book na pinirmahan at pinila pa ng when you got the vaccine, hindi po ino-honor yon. It has to be an official document, no? From the NHS app.
May mapalad tayo, may masipag tayong director dito, ha? No? In the person of Jerry Panga, no?
Ito dahil binanggit natin nagtatrabaho, no?
Oo.
Kakatuwa naman tong si Priscilla Morada. Hello,
Yes.
sirs. Watching while on duty at my work here in
Wow.
Maida Vale, London. Community care worker.
Ayan, oh. Hindi lang mailabas nga, pero okay yan, Peps. Okay lang yan. Sige, good,
Oo,
good.
yun nga,
Mabuhay
no?
ka, ha? Priscilla Morada. Tama ba yan?
Priscilla Morada. No?
Isa sa mga estudyante
Nakakatuwa
ko
naman.
si Priscilla ba? Tama? Estudyante ba kita sa embassy? Doon sa ating speech development through broadcast training, no?
Yes, oo.
Yes, oo. Si Priscilla Morada. Naging
Watching
estudyante.
while on duty, ha?
Wow, talaga kita mo nga naman, ha? Siyempre, kasama natin yung ating PIDOT, the director, no? Tourism Attaché, no? Dito siya nakabase ho sa Philippine Embassy
Yes.
London. Pero teka muna, yung Department of Tourism doon sa Germany, Frankfurt yun, di ba?
Frankfurt ang kanila opisina.
Pero ang tawag ba sa kanya, Tourism Attaché din? Dahil kasi parang nasa Berlin
Yes,
yung
yes.
Tourism Attaché din?
Hindi, tourism attaché yan.
Tourism Attaché din. Okay. So ilan ang tourism attaches kaya sa Europe? Dalawa lang kaya?
Dalawa lang sila. Si
Dalawa lang
Maggie
sila.
at saka si Jerry.
Ayan, dalawa, okay. May maganda yan, no? Magandang posisyon yan. Bago si Jerry, sino ang ating tourism attaché? Sino ba yun? Hindi naman si Chit dahil sino yung
Si Chit naging officer in charge lang.
Oo, pero sino yung bago si Chit?
Si
Sinong-
Chikoy. Si Chikoy,
Chicoy Enerio. Si
Enerio.
Chicoy nga pala. Chicoy Enerio. Oh, wow. Si Chicoy naging undersecretary ba o assistant secretary o
Assistant Secretary and Undersecretary.
yun ang ini-expect natin kay Jerry.
Undersecretary level when he became the head of yung isang attached agency ng Department of Tourism.
Most likely Jerry will occupy that position, no? Eventually, no? So pag-uwi natin sa
Pag bumalik
Pilipinas.
siya sa Philippines. No? So
pag
next
bumalik sa
year pa
Pilipinas,
pala. No?
After next year.
So,
Pagkatapos yung eleksyon. Andito pa kaya, hindi natin natin kung andito pa siya ng after the election. Di ba? Mag-i-election na
andito
next
pa
year.
siguro.
Andito pa yan. Sige. Well, we can have a part 2 with Jerry because a lot of our kababayans are really talagang into, di ba, trying to promote the Philippines and travel back home. Ano ba pwedeng maitulong? Ano ang pwede nilang mapag-investan? Siguro next time, we can probably have that again, no? Kay Jerry. Dahil,
Yes.
di ba, maganda namang si Jerry guest dahil very articulate naman yan no? Napakahusay. Okay, well, I guess magpaalam na tayo siguro, Peps, no? At
Yes.
it's been, alam mo, nakakatuwa kasing kasama to si Jerry, no? And we found out a lot of things about him eventually, no? Sa kanyang, tungkol sa kanya, no? Sa family niya. And how he transferred from CAS to tourism nga pala, no? Marami tayong mga natututunan sa ating mga kababayan, sa ating mga nagiging guest dito sa ating program. Okay, Pep, sige, magpaalam ka na. Baka may may mga pahabol ka or gusto pang i-mensahe. Go ahead,
Tinitingnan ko nga
please.
kung may mga humabol pa, no? Pero mukhang yun na. No? So,
Yun na. Sige.
as we said, well, ngayon na, papaalam na tayo. No? So maraming salamat po sa mga sumubaybay at nanood ngayon dito sa embassy natin, kaibigan mo, on Filipino TV Europe, no? Next week po, babalik kami alas 3 ng hapon uli dito po sa Filipino TV Europe. Ako po si Peps Villanueva. nagpapaalam na muna ngayon sa inyong lahat. Salamat po!
Thank you, Peps. Ayan, si Peps Villanueva, ang ating kasama rito, no? Kasparing partner natin at dito sa ating programa. Okay, well, I guess it's time for us to say goodbye, no? Siyempre, sa ngalan ho ng aming naging very special guest, ang director ho ng Northern and Southern Europe ho ng Philippine Department of Tourism at Tourism Attaché dito ho, nakabase sa London, si Director Jerry Panga, no? At syempre, yung ating mga sumama sa atin, mga participants na nagtanong, no? At ito si Rafi Landicho, Remy Barrio Smith, and Dina Trinidad, no? At syempre, no, sa ngalan din Peps ng ating director na si Paula Perez, no? Kami po ni Peps ay nagsasabing thank you very much so sa inyong walang wasawang pagsubaybay sa aming programang Embassy Natin Kaibigan Mo. Abangan ho kung saan kami next week, no? So till then, take care, God bless, and keep safe and well always. Maraming salamat. See you then. Bye.
Bakit yan niluluto mo Meron pa. Paborito ko yan.
Sa World Remit, naiintindihan namin ang iyong paglalakbay. Na minsan, kailangan lumayo upang makamit ang tagumpay. With ways to save more, when you send more, World Remit is here for you. So you can be there for them.